Chapter 12:18. Baby sheep and little Ying Ying's condition didn't seem right. When she rescued them earlier, Yin Sheng had already noticed that they weren't injured, but in addition to the ropes, there were also black talisman-like things on their bodies. Yin Sheng didn't pay attention to them earlier, but just now, those black talisman-like things suddenly drilled into baby sheep and little Ying Ying's bodies. Baby sheep and little Ying Ying felt a piercing pain in their bodies, and little Ying Ying couldn't help but cry. Baby sheep's face turned red, and bean-sized beads of sweat soaked its soft wool. Yin Sheng hurriedly checked on the two, but the woman and the beast didn't seem to be poisoned or injured. Even with the Shinnong eye, Yin Sheng could only sense that there was a mysterious power in their bodies that was constantly moving. It was also this force that made the woman and the beast feel as if they were being cut into pieces. Little Ying Ying was a human, and this strange force affected her. Yin Sheng could understand. But why would baby sheep have such a big reaction? Baby sheep was a world deity. Although it hadn't fully grown, it had always been alive and kicking, except for when it was hatched, when it was seriously injured. Ordinary combat skills and magic were nothing to baby sheep. But the strange force formed by the mysterious black talisman was like baby sheep's nemesis, causing baby sheep so much pain that it wanted to die. Little Ying Ying's body was weak, and it didn't take long for it to pass out. Don't think that you're the only one with a trump card. You saved them, but I've cast a witchcraft talisman on them. This kind of talisman can only be found in the Celestial Fox clan, and no one in the world can remove it. Elder Lu laughed. Baby sheep only felt that the strange force in its body was tearing at its organs, and its body was about to explode. Enough! Yin Sheng spat out 2 words when she saw baby sheep and little Ying Ying in pain. Ha ha ha! If you agree, I have an antidote here. Take it every 10 days, and it will ensure the woman and the beast's safety. However, if they did not comply, the pain would flare up once a day. On the 10th day, the monstrous power would burst out of their bodies, causing them to explode and die. I know you're a female doctor, but this antidote is a witchcraft. It's impossible for you to cure it, Elder Lu said proudly. At this point, he did not believe that Yin Sheng would not compromise. Dear Master, Bo is useless. Bobo's sheep was dying. This was the first time he hated someone so much. It was a world deity beast, but it was always a burden to its master. Hey, it's not your fault. Yin Sheng looked up with a burning gaze. Suddenly, the divine lotus karmic fire in her body exploded like a flash flood. Bang, bang, bang. Countless azura heavenly thorns rained down from the sky. The enraged Yin Sheng instantly tore apart the entire magic array in front of Elder Lu and Lu Shuyu. The entire Lu residence was devastated, as if it had experienced a thunderstorm. I will join Plentiful City and participate in the Saintess election on behalf of Lu Shuyu. After I succeed, give me the antidote immediately. Otherwise, I'll kill everyone in the Lu residence. Little Ying Ying and Bo were like family to Yin Sheng. This time, Elder Lu had completely violated Yin Sheng's bottom line. If it were not for the mysterious black talisman that Yin Sheng could not break, she would not have agreed to Elder Lu's request so sullenly. Seeing that Yin Sheng had agreed, Elder Lu threw her 2 bottles of medicine. He would give the rest of the medicine to Yin Sheng in batches after 10 days. After receiving the antidote, Yin Sheng left with Bo sheep and little Ying Ying, leaving the Lu residence in ruins. Although he successfully threatened Yin Sheng to agree to his conditions, Elder Lu was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. This woman's strength was really terrifying. Thinking about it later, Elder Lu was still a little scared. Grandpa, are you really letting her participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess election? But her strength, what if she doesn't listen to us? Lu Shuyu was also scared out of her wits. Only now did she realize how lucky she was that only one of her hands was destroyed that day. That Celestial Fox bitch, the woman surnamed Yun, was many times stronger than the other Saintess candidates in Songdu. Even if she was just an inferior half-beast, it would not hinder her from being selected in the end. No wonder Grandpa let her represent Plentiful City first. At this time, Elder Lu was also full of doubts. It was said that Songdu's military counselor, He Sui, was unparalleled in wisdom. How could he give up such an outstanding candidate and let someone else represent Songdu? Shuiyu, that was just a temporary measure. That witchcraft amulet is not an ordinary thing. In fact, even I only asked for 3 from the great witch doctor. As for whether the witchcraft amulet has an antidote, only the great witch doctor knows. Elder Lu snorted. This woman was a scourge after all. If she really did not listen in the end, he would ask the great witch doctor to personally take action. He did not believe that the great witch doctor, who had mysterious powers, would not be able to subdue a lowly half-beast. As soon as Yin Sheng walked out of the Lu mansion, she first checked the 2 bottles of medicine that Elder Lu had given her. She found that the 2 bottles of medicine were colorless and odorless. She could not tell what they were made of. However, after drinking the medicine, Popping Sheep and Little Yingying's condition did improve a lot. Just as Yin Sheng was about to ask Popping Sheep and Little Yingying about the details, her ears twitched slightly. "Come out." Yin Sheng shielded Little Yingying and Popping Sheep in front of her and suddenly spoke. A person walked out from behind her. When she saw the person, Yin Sheng was stunned. This person was Lu Yunshuang of the Ice Fox clan, whom Yin Sheng had met once at the inn earlier. "It's you. Why are you following me?" Yin Sheng had sharp senses and had long noticed that someone was following her. She had thought that it was Elder Lu's subordinate, but she did not expect that the person following her would be Lu Yunshuang. "You don't have to try. That antidote was made by the great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe. No one else in the world can make it except for her," Lu Yunshuang said calmly. She was no different from a few days ago. Her face was still as cold as ice. The moment she got close to her, the temperature around her dropped by a few degrees. "Why are you telling me this?" Yin Sheng was on guard. Lu Yunshuang was one of the representatives of Feng City. Yin Sheng did not think that she would be so kind. "I'm not your enemy. I can help you become the Saintess of Celestial Fox." Lu Yunshuang's words stunned Yin Sheng. "You're also one of the candidates for the position of Saintess. Becoming the Saintess should be your wish, right?" Yin Sheng did not believe Lu Yunshuang. Not everyone wants to become the Saintess of Celestial Fox. Everyone thinks that being the Saintess of Celestial Fox is an honor, but they don't know that the status of the Saintess of Celestial Fox is also a burden. The previous Saintess of Celestial Fox was the best example, Lu Yunshuang said calmly. Chapter 1219. You knew the previous Celestial Fox Saintess? Yin Sheng could not help but take a few more glances at Lu Yunshuang when she heard this. Lu Yunshuang of the Ice Fox tribe was just like her name. She was cold and indifferent to everyone at any time. "I didn't know her, but I've heard some things about her. If she wasn't the Celestial Fox Saintess, she would probably be much happier. Indeed, if she was human or born on another continent, everything would be different." Yin Sheng could not help but sigh. She could not help but think about how she and Hu Sheng's mothers were both hatched from the same beast blood cloud. If their mothers had been swapped back then, would her and Hu Sheng's fates have been changed as well? However, there were never too many ifs in this world. "I don't want to be some saintess. My only condition for helping you is that after everything is done, you help me dissolve my ice fox physique." Lu Yunshuang glanced at Yun Sheng a few times. She did not know why Yun Sheng would suddenly become so emotional. Lu Yunshuang also knew that Elder Lu and his granddaughter had captured Popping Sheep and Little Yingying. She had thought that Yun Sheng would succumb to Elder Lu's pressure. Who would have thought that the Lu mansion would be razed to the ground by the furious Yun Sheng? Lu Yunshuang could not help but look at Yun Sheng in a new light. In the entire Celestial Fox tribal nation, not many people had the guts that Yun Sheng did. This also confirmed Lu Yunshuang's earlier guess. That day, when Lu Yunshuang saw Yun Sheng use only a few needles to remove the ice from Qin Yu's body, she wanted to find an opportunity to ask Yun Sheng if she could help her. If Yun Sheng could help her, she could help Yun Sheng defeat the other competitors in the upcoming Celestial Fox Saintess selection and come out on top. To Lu Yunshuang, whether or not the capital was plentiful did not matter at all. The Ice Fox clan had always been wandering around the periphery of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. For so many years, the Celestial Fox tribal nation had never cared about the life and death of the Ice Fox clan. This time, Lu Yunchuang was representing Fengdu in the competition because Elder Lu had done her a favor before. However, no matter how much money he had, it was nothing compared to improving the Ice Fox's physique. Improve your physique? Are you talking about improving your body's constitution that freezes when you touch others? Yin Sheng had cured countless diseases, but she had never heard of a body that could be cured. Moreover, the Ice Fox physique was Lu Yunchuang's trump card. Why would she want to change her physique? I have a sweetheart. He's a human. A rare blush appeared on Lu Yunchuang's face. This shyness made her, who was originally as cold as snow, gain a strange kind of beauty. Lu Yunchuang lived in the Ice Fox tribe, which was adjacent to the human tribe. She had lived with the human tribe since she was young. There, she met a human ancient martial art practitioner. The two of them loved each other, but due to Lu Yunchuang's constitution, she could not be with that man. That man had been frostbitten by Lu Yunchuang a few times. It was also because of this that his family and friends objected to him being with Lu Yunchuang. We don't even have intimate actions between lovers. Although he said he didn't mind, I do. I heard that the great witch doctor in the Celestial Fox tribe has amazing medical skills, so I want her to help me change my physique. Lu Yunchuang sighed. She did not want her lover to suffer again. She had accepted Elder Lu's invitation to represent Fengdu in the competition because Elder Lu had a close relationship with the great witch doctor. Through Elder Lu's recommendation, she met the great witch doctor. However, after examining Lu Yunchuang's constitution, the great witch doctor told her regretfully that even she could not change the constitution of the Ice Fox tribe. When Lu Yunchuang found out, she was very upset. She had planned to return to the Ice Fox tribe and break up with her lover after participating in the Celestial Fox Saint selection. However, at this moment, Yun Sheng appeared. Although she did not know where Yun Sheng came from, her miraculous acupuncture technique gave Lu Yunchuang a glimmer of hope in her despair. I see. My acupuncture technique can solve many difficult and complicated diseases, but I have never tried to improve one's constitution. Yun Sheng could not guarantee that she would be able to help Lu Yunchuang. However, Lu Yunchuang's deep affection for that human male reminded Yun Sheng of her relationship with Night Fox. Speaking of which, the situation was somewhat similar to her relationship with Night Fox. Night Fox and she could not be together because of the ancient curse of the Kirin clan, while Lu Yunchuang could not be together because of her constitution. Just give it a try. If you fail, I won't blame you. When Lu Yunchuang saw that Yun Sheng had agreed, her face lit up. By the way, you mentioned the Great Witch Doctor just now. Are you sure that the Great Witch Doctor was the one who put those black talismans on Baby Goat and Ying? Yin Sheng had heard about it since she came to the 8 Wilderness Continent. On the 8 Wilderness Continent, healers only treated the most basic injuries. Here, there were only regular healers and witch doctors. The status of witch doctors was much higher than that of regular healers. In particular, the witch doctors in the Celestial Fox tribe had the same status as the chief and saintess. In the Celestial Fox tribe, the chief of the Celestial Fox people, the Great Witch Doctor, the Council of Elders, and the Celestial Fox Saintess were once known as the 4 poles of the Celestial Fox tribe. However, because the previous Celestial Fox Saintess, Hu Sheng, could not practice magic, the status of the Celestial Fox Saintess had plummeted in the Celestial Fox tribe. The chief, the Great Witch Doctor, and the Council of Elders were now the 3 pillars of power in the Celestial Fox tribe. Lu Yunchuang had seen the black talismans by chance when she was diagnosed by the Great Witch Doctor last time. That was how she recognized them at first glance. I'm sure that the black talismans are the Great Witch Doctor's unique witchcraft. As for these potions, they must have been concocted by the Great Witch Doctor. However, you should give up on the idea of snatching the antidote from the Great Witch Doctor. The Great Witch Doctor is the most unfathomable person in the entire Celestial Fox tribe. Some say that her strength is comparable to the first priest of the beast god Altar. Lu Yunchuang was very smart. She glanced at Yun Sheng and reminded her. Although she had only met Yun Sheng once, Lu Yunchuang could tell that she was a person who valued friendship. Yinsheng would not listen to her advice. It was also because of the great witch doctor's existence that the celestial fox tribe, the weakest of the three, was able to retain a seat among the Bakra orcs. It was said that the previous celestial fox saintess had been promoted to the position of the celestial fox saintess because of the great witch doctor's recommendation. From this, one could see how high the great witch doctor's status in the celestial fox tribe was. No matter what, I'll definitely use this celestial fox saintess opportunity to meet the great witch doctor. Yun Sheng glanced at Popping Sheep and little Yingying, her brows tightly knitted together. Chapter 1220. After parting ways with Lu Yunchuang, Yun Sheng returned to the inn. You want to represent Fengdu in the saintess election? When they found out that Yun Sheng was going to represent Fengdu in the saintess election, everyone in Songdu looked at her with displeasure. Although they were both capitals of the Celestial Fox tribal nation, there was still competition between them. Especially in recent years, Fengdu had always relied on its status as the wealthiest capital city to seize a lot of resources. The previous competition between Songdu and Fengdu had caused the two capitals to be on bad terms. Yun Sheng was representing Fengdu in the competition at this juncture. In the eyes of everyone in Songdu, it was undoubtedly a last-minute betrayal. I told you, she's not a good person. The people of Fengdu must have given her some benefits. That's why she's willing to fight for them. Qin Yu began to slander Yun Sheng. Qin Yu thought that after she told Elder Lu about Popping Sheep and Yingying's whereabouts, he would seize the opportunity to kill Yun Sheng after capturing them. She did not know if Elder Lu's brain had been kicked by a donkey. Not only did he not kill this lowly creature, but he also allowed her to represent Fengdu in the competition. How was this a reward? It was a good thing that fell from the sky. Qin Yu, you know best whether it was me who switched sides or you who did something behind the scenes. Yin Sheng glanced coldly at Qin Yu. Yin Sheng had been wondering why Elder Lu had his eyes on Popping Sheep and little Yingying. Lu Yunchuang had warned Yin Sheng to be careful of Qin Yu. Yun Sheng was representing Fengdu in the competition. The others, including Feng Lian and Huayan Luo, did not say anything. Only Qin Yu looked indignant. Don't slander me. Who do you think you are? You just want competition. Let me tell you, a lowly half-beast human like you won't even make it past the first round, let alone enter the official competition later on. Qin Yu's expression changed slightly. She was afraid that others would see through her collusion with Elder Lu. That's right. This time, the fence-sitter is right. Yun, no matter what your reason is, you're representing Fengdu in the competition. From today onwards, we are competitors. Seeing that we are on the same team, I advise you not to go and make a fool of yourself, lest you get eliminated in the first round. Huayan Luo also stepped forward. The first round, due to her closed-door training, Yun Sheng was very uninformed. In addition, she had no intention of participating in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony, so she was completely unaware of the details of the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony. He didn't even know the details of the Saintess selection for Celestial Fox. Yun Sheng had even missed the registration for the Celestial Fox Saintess election. However, Elder Lu had already used some means to change Lu Xiuyu's name to Yun Sheng. The first round of the competition is about bloodline. Speaking of which, do you know which branch of Celestial Fox you belong to? Feng Lian asked indifferently. Yun Sheng was stumped by the question. Since it was the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony, the most basic requirement was naturally to have Celestial Fox bloodline. There were many clans in the Celestial Fox tribe. Then what bloodline do you belong to? Yin Sheng had never heard Hu Jiusheng talk about bloodlines. Or rather, Hu Jiusheng, who had been hatched from the beast blood cloud, did not know about bloodlines. The Celestial Fox tribe divides the bloodline into grades from 1 to 6. Naturally, one tail is the lowest bloodline. The higher the bloodline goes, the higher the bloodline of the Celestial Fox bloodline. For example, the Ice Fox clan that Lu Yunchuan belongs to the five-tailed bloodline. The Lu family that Lu Xiuyu belongs to also has 5 tails. The Hua family that Hua Yin Luo belongs to the four-tailed bloodline. Qin Yu, and I belong to the three-tailed bloodline. Feng Lian pointed at the few people present. Although the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony this time was the most lenient in history, there was a basic requirement for all the candidates, be they purebred or half-beast humans, to meet the requirements of a three-tailed celestial fox. Otherwise, there was no way to pass the first round, and they would be eliminated immediately. Did you hear that? The Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony is not for people like you to participate. Lowly half-beast humans like you, who can't even hide your fox ears and tails, can only have two tails at most. No matter how strong you are, you'll still be eliminated in the first round, Qinyu mocked. Whether I'll be eliminated or not, we'll know tomorrow. Yunsheng could not be bothered to argue with Qinyu. She took Baby Sheep and Little Yingying back to her room to rest. After taking the potion, Baby Sheep and Little Yingying returned to normal. However, Yunsheng knew that the mysterious black talisman in their bodies would act up again after 10 days. Elder Lu, Great Witch Doctor, you made Baby Sheep and Little Yingying suffer so much. She will not let you off. Yunsheng's black eyes darkened. She sat down cross-legged and began to meditate. The next morning, Yunsheng took Baby Sheep and Little Yingying to Hu City Square. The first round of the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony would be held here in a few days. When Yunsheng arrived at the square, it was already crowded with people. The Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony was the most eye-catching competition for the people of the Celestial Fox tribal country, except for the Bahuang clan competition. After all, not everyone had the chance to see the Saintess. This time, those who came to participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony were all stunning beauties selected from the 10 major capital cities of the Celestial Fox tribal country. Everyone loved beauty, so there were many people participating in the selection this time. In order to maintain order, there were also a large number of Celestial Fox soldiers in the square. The other two Celestial Fox Saintess candidates, In Fengdu, Lu Yunchuang, and Chun Shi, had been waiting there for a long time. I really don't know what Elder Lu is thinking. He actually let you replace Big Sister Xiuyu, Chun Shi said angrily when she saw Yunsheng. The last time Yunsheng defeated Lu Xiuyu in front of everyone at the inn, Chun Shi still hated her for it. Unlike Lu Yunchuang, Chun Shi and Lu Xiuyu were good friends when they were in Fengdu. This time, Yunsheng had crippled Lu Xiuyu's hand and even profited from the disaster by replacing Lu Xiuyu. Chun Shi could not swallow this resentment. Fortunately, Chun Shi also thought that a lowly half-beast human like Yunsheng would not even pass the first round. Oh, look at the Saintess candidate in Fengdu. She still retains her half-beast form? Isn't that so? Hasn't Fengdu always boasted that only purebreds come from Fengdu? Well, high status and pure bloodline. She hasn't even taken off her fox form. Don't tell me she's a first or second-class celestial fox. There was a burst of chatter in his ears. In the square, the Saintess candidates representing the other capital cities also looked over. Plentiful City was the wealthiest city, and the three Saintess candidates were all purebred. Earlier, Lu Xiuyu and Qin Qi had been bossy and domineering. Before the competition began, they had already offended a lot of people and attracted a lot of hatred. Chapter 12:21. Lu Xiuyu had wantonly attacked the half-beast humans from other capital cities and even the purebred celestial fox. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, her right hand would be crippled? Lu Xiuyu, who had always been considered the most likely candidate to be the Saintess, was forced to withdraw halfway through the selection, leaving Feng City one less person. In the end, they could only find a last-minute half-beast human to replace her. When the news spread, people from other capital cities were waiting to laugh at Feng City. Qin Shi, who was prideful, felt even more humiliated when everyone stared at her with ridicule. It's all your fault. A person like you shouldn't even be here. Qin Shi wanted nothing more than to chase Yunsheng away, but she did not dare to disobey Elder Lu's orders. She had wanted to join forces with Lu Yunchuang to ostracize Yunsheng, but she did not expect Lu Yunchuang to ignore her suggestion. Stop arguing. The test has begun. Lu Yunchuang glanced at the square. A celestial fox elder had already appeared in the middle of the square. The first round of the test, the bloodline test, had officially begun. The one presiding over the first round of the test was Elder Geo of the Council of Elders. He was a middle-aged man with no facial hair. Silence. The bloodline test will begin immediately. Celestial Fox Sanus candidates from the 10 capital cities, please form a group and participate in the test separately. Elder Geo coughed a few times when he heard the commotion in the square. His dignified voice immediately spread throughout the square. Yinsheng noticed that Hu City's 3 Celestial Fox Sanus candidates were standing at the front. Hu Linglong, whom she had met a few days ago, was among the 3 of them. She was dressed in a bright red sorcerer's robe, like a fireball. She stood out in the crowd and attracted everyone's attention. Hu Linglong walked forward and greeted the 9th elder in a familiar manner. A crystal ball and a dagger were placed in front of Elder Geo. The dagger looked like it was carved out of jade, and the crystal ball looked no different from an ordinary crystal ball for testing magic. Hu Linglong picked up the dagger and made a cut on her hand. There was no trace of blood on the dagger. Hu Linglong dripped the blood on her finger onto the crystal ball. The originally transparent crystal ball changed the moment Hu Linglong's blood dripped onto it. In the transparent crystal ball, a fiery red fox appeared. The fox's posture was graceful, giving off the same feeling as Hu Linglong. But the most eye-catching thing was the fiery red fox's 5 fluffy foxtails that resembled fire. 5-tailed, Hu Linglong really is a 5-tailed celestial fox. Everyone began to discuss. As the daughter of Hu Qi Qiansui, Hu Linglong and the patriarch Hu Qiansui were of the same origin. The fact that she was a 5-tailed celestial fox was also within everyone's expectations. Soon, the 5-tailed fox in the crystal ball disappeared. The 5-tailed celestial fox was already a very high-level existence among all celestial fox bloodlines. Hu Linglong walked down like a proud peacock. After Hu Linglong's test, the other celestial fox Sanus candidates looked at her with envy and jealousy. Everyone knew that Hu Linglong was the most promising candidate among the celestial fox Sanus candidates this time. There were even people who said that this Saintess selection ceremony was just a formality. No matter the result, Hu Linglong would become the Saintess. While the second Saintess went up to take the test, Yinsheng asked Lu Yunshuang in a low voice, "Are there other celestial foxes above 6-tailed? For example, 7-tailed and 8-tailed? The more tails you have, the more powerful you are?" Lu Yunshuang gave her a strange look, as if she found it strange that, as a heavenly fox, she did not even know such basic knowledge. Among the bloodlines, 6-tailed is already the highest. Even the current chief of the celestial fox people was only a 6-tailed celestial fox back then. Further up, they're 7-tailed and 8-tailed, but that is not because of the bloodline. Instead, it is because of the additional foxtails that are produced when one's cultivation level increases, Lu Yunshuang explained with a cold face. The more foxtails one had, the more powerful one was, but the greater one's potential. This was because every additional tail meant that one could learn another celestial fox legacy. Lu Yunshuang saw how powerful Yunsheng was and thought that she would at least know this. Who knew that Yunsheng was not aware of this at all? The more foxtails one had, the more celestial fox legacies one could learn. When Yunsheng heard this, her frown, which she had been frowning because of the celestial fox bloodline test, suddenly relaxed. Does that mean that if a celestial fox learns multiple celestial fox legacies, how many celestial foxtails is she? Yinsheng had previously comprehended 2 celestial fox legacies. In addition to the Yama's fox claw and fox's traceless shadow that she had learned later, she now had a total of 4 celestial fox legacies. Yinsheng was a little worried that she would not even pass the first round of the test, because she did not know the level of her bloodline. After Lu Yunshuang finished speaking, she looked away. Yinsheng breathed a sigh of relief. If that was the case, the worst she could do was to be a 4-tailed celestial fox. At least she could escape the misfortune of being eliminated in the first round. However, Yinsheng immediately thought of another problem. Does that mean that after a four-tailed celestial fox has learned four celestial fox legacies, she will not be able to learn other legacies? Yunsheng asked again. In theory, yes. If it were not for the fact that she and Yunsheng had already become allies, Lu Yunchuang would not have bothered to ask Yunsheng such pointless questions. Yunsheng wailed in her heart. If she had known this would happen, she would not have learned for legacies so casually. If she really was a four-tailed celestial fox, did that not mean that she would not be able to learn other celestial fox legacies? It was not that Yunsheng's legacies were bad, but that there was no harm in having more skills. One more legacy was a promise. However, if the other celestial fox saintesses heard Yunsheng's thoughts, they would probably vomit blood in anger. Heaven knew that most people would find it difficult to learn just one celestial fox legacy, but Yunsheng could do it as easily as drinking water and eating rice. It would inevitably make people feel unbalanced. However, there are exceptions. For example, when your strength increases and the number of foxtails increases, you can naturally learn one more legacy. Lu Yunchuang could not help adding when she saw Yunsheng's ugly expression. At this point, there was a sudden uproar in the square. What a shameless thing! How dare she participate in the test like this? Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang looked ahead. They saw Elder Jiu angrily reprimanding a celestial fox saintess candidate. That candidate was a tall and voluptuous young celestial fox. At this moment, she was trembling, and she was still holding the dagger in her hand. Yunsheng could clearly see that the jade dagger was glowing red. Earlier, when several celestial fox saintess candidates, including Hu Linglong, cut their hands with the dagger, their blood did not touch the dagger. However, the moment the blood of this young celestial fox came into contact with the dagger changed. Chapter 1222. Only now did Yunsheng realize that the dagger placed next to the crystal ball was not an ordinary dagger. This was a special dagger called the Chastity Dagger. It was made from the soul stone of a very special magic beast in the Bahuang continent, the Chastity Gecko. The Chastity Dagger was specifically used to test whether a woman was a virgin or not. If a woman's chastity was still intact, when her blood stained the dagger would not change. However, if a woman lost her chastity, the dagger would suck the blood of the woman who had lost her chastity, and the dagger would turn red. One of the requirements for the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate was to be a virgin. This Celestial Fox Saintess candidate had obviously had illicit relations with others. The Celestial Fox Saintess is the symbol of the Celestial Fox tribe. You actually dared to conceal the truth. Someone come, break her tendons, and strip her of her identity as a Celestial Fox. Also, expel all blood relatives within 3 generations from the tribe. The 9th elder flew into a rage. This Celestial Fox Saintess selection was to choose a wife for the 9 Phoenix tribe's young clan leader. This damned woman actually participated with an impure body. If this matter was known by the 9 Phoenix tribe, who knew what kind of storm it would cause? 9th elder, please spare my life. When the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate heard this, her entire body was paralyzed. From the noble status of the Celestial Fox to being expelled from the tribe, she and her family were finished. No one paid attention to the woman's mournful pleas. Her tendons were broken, and she was dragged out with blood all over her body. In the square, everyone's eyes were cold. In the Bahuang continent, the weak were not worthy of sympathy. After a few more rounds of testing, there were no more unchaste Celestial Fox Saintess candidates. However, there were a few Celestial Fox Half-Beast men that did not reach the level of Celestial Fox Half-Beast men. The eliminated Saintess candidates could only dejectedly leave the square. When it was Feng Du's turn, the first one to step forward was Chun Chi. After a test, her bloodline was found to be 4-tailed. Among all the Celestial Fox bloodlines, her bloodline was not bad. The Frost Fox and Lu Yunchuang walked up to him. Her blood dripped onto the crystal ball, and the crystal ball instantly emitted a blue light. In the crystal ball, it was as if it was snowing. A pure white snow fox appeared in front of everyone. Behind the snow fox, there were 5 tails. 5-tailed Celestial Fox, as expected of the Ice Fox clan with a rare bloodline. The ninth elder looked at the completely white Ice Fox and nodded approvingly. Lu Yunshuang's face remained as cold as ice in the face of praise. When it was Yunsheng's turn, the ninth elder raised his head and saw Yunsheng, who was wearing a veil. He frowned and then saw Yunsheng's foxtail and fox ears. A half-orc that hasn't even shed its fox form? Fengdu was being too perfunctory. If not for Elder Lu's earlier instructions, he would have directly asked this half-orc to scram. Let's begin. The ninth elder's tone was not very pleasant. Yunsheng did not pay attention to the ninth elder. She took the chastity dagger and shook the tip of the dagger. A drop of blood fell onto the crystal ball. Blood dripped onto the crystal ball. Chun Chi, Qin Yu, and the others all looked over with mocking expressions. The other celestial fox Sanus candidates also looked like they were waiting to watch a good show. The blood lingered on the surface of the crystal ball for a moment, but the crystal ball did not react. Don't tell me you're not a celestial fox. The ninth elder stood up and looked at the crystal ball suspiciously. However, even if she was not a celestial fox, this test crystal ball should still be able to reveal Yunsheng's beast form. Unless she was not a beast at all, but a human. Ridiculous. A human dared to participate in the celestial fox Sanus selection. This discovery was even worse than the discovery of the celestial fox girl who had lost her virginity. Someone come. The ninth elder was furious and slammed his palm on the table. The round crystal ball almost fell off the table. At this moment, the crystal ball suddenly emitted a blazing white light. Everyone only saw a dazzling white light in front of them. The entire square was bathed in a white light that was like the moonlight. The ninth elder covered his eyes. A celestial fox appeared in the crystal ball. That celestial fox was exceptionally beautiful. It had a noble posture and was covered in silk-like silver fox fur. Its forehooves were also shining with a golden light. There was not a trace of fat on its body. Every bone was well-proportioned. The most shocking thing was that the celestial fox had 6 tails on its back. Six tails. The ninth elder ignored the piercing light in his eyes. He leaned forward and grabbed the crystal ball tightly. He stuttered and looked at the 6-tailed celestial fox in the crystal ball in disbelief. The square was also dead silent. Those who had mocked Yunsheng's identity as a half-beast human had all become mute. As for the ordinary citizens of whose city, they looked at the masked woman with reverence. The fox tails and fox ears on her body seemed to have disappeared. The celestial fox's black eyes were as dark as the night sky. It looked at the people in the square proudly. Yunsheng was also surprised. She thought that with her mixed celestial fox bloodline, she would at most have 4 or 5 tails. She did not expect that she had 6 tails. In the crystal ball, the silver-white celestial fox winked at Yunsheng. Its expression was very similar to Yunsheng's usual expression. How can it be? The word be asterisk starred was stuck in her throat like a fishbone. She could not spit it out. Qin Yu opened her mouth. She was only a 3-tailed celestial fox. She was not qualified to call Yunsheng AB asterisk star at this time. Hua Yinluo and Feng Lian had complicated expressions. Although they were surprised by Yunsheng's bloodline, they were not too shocked. It was a pity that Yunsheng was now representing Fengdu in the competition. The competition in the following competition would be more intense. You are Yunsheng from Fengdu, a 6-tailed celestial fox. Not bad, not bad. The ninth elder's eyes lit up. It had been many years since a 6-tailed celestial fox had appeared in the celestial fox tribe. So what if she is a 6-tailed fox? That good-for-nothing was also a 6-tailed fox. Yunsheng was found to be a 6-tailed fox. Hu Linglong was the most depressed. She looked at the crystal ball with jealousy and hatred. She wanted to crush the crystal ball. Hu Linglong hated fox tails the most. In fact, when Hu Linglong was just born, she had been tested for her celestial fox bloodline. At that time, the previous celestial fox Sanus had just passed away. The celestial fox tribe conducted a small test among several of the noblest newborn celestial fox girls. When the test results came out, Hu Linglong was a 5-tailed fox. At that time, Hu Qiansui wanted to fight for her to become the celestial fox Sanus. But in the end, Hu Qianqiu brought Hu Sheng, who was born an hour earlier than Hu Linglong. Hu Sheng was also found to be a six-tailed celestial fox at that time. Hu Sheng was the only celestial fox to be found to be a six-tailed celestial fox in more than 20 years. From then on, Hu Sheng naturally became the celestial fox saintess. He was also known as the most talented celestial fox after Hu Qinxiu. Chapter 1223. However, the good times did not last long. Hu Sheng gradually grew up, and when she was 6 years old, she participated in the Celestial Fox Tribe's test. Whether it was Do Qi or magic, she actually knew nothing about them. From heaven to hell, Hu Sheng also went from a proud daughter of heaven to a trash that was laughed at by others. A celestial fox with the noblest bloodline of a celestial fox, who actually did not know any magic or Do Qi. Even her father, Hu Qinxiu, neglected her because of this. If not for the great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox Tribe, who supported Hu Sheng would have been abolished long ago. However, it was also from then on that Hu Sheng's character became increasingly autistic, and finally became the joke of the entire Celestial Fox Tribe. Hearing Hu Linglong's words, the ninth elder and the spectators in the square, who were originally immersed in the joy of a six-tailed celestial fox, also recalled. That's right, the previous celestial fox, Hu Sheng, was also a six-tailed celestial fox. It was only because she was really too useless that everyone had already forgotten that she was originally a six-tailed celestial fox. In any case, the results of the first round of tests were still good. The next few rounds of tests would ultimately determine who was the most suitable to be the celestial fox saintess. However, this time, it would not be like the last time, where a useless celestial fox saintess was chosen. After Plentiful City, there were only 2 capital cities left. 6 celestial fox women of different figures and appearances came forward, and one by one, they were tested. The first 4 people's test results were mostly normal. They were 3-tailed and 4-tailed respectively. There were no more cases of losing one's chastity or higher bloodlines above 5-tailed. At this time, a yellow-clothed woman came forward, wearing a bamboo hat. The ninth elder was somewhat dissatisfied. Earlier, when Yun Sheng wore a veil, the ninth elder wanted to reprimand her, but he did not say it out of consideration for Elder Lu. This woman was even more outrageous, directly wearing a bamboo hat. The yellow-clothed woman seemed to know that she had angered the ninth elder. She gently took off her bamboo hat, revealing a face that was like a peach blossom in spring. However, at that moment, no one was paying attention to the woman's face. Including Elder Gio, everyone was staring at the yellow-clothed woman's eyes. It was a pair of indescribable eyes. One eye was blue while the other was green. This commoner is Yu Shang, from Yudu. The woman's voice was also very pleasant to the ears. She raised her snow-white hand and picked up the dagger, wiping it across her hand. Dazzling red blood rolled onto the crystal ball. The crystal ball shone with a dazzling yellow light, and a yellow heavenly fox appeared within it. Heavens, it's six-tailed again. When he saw the yellow celestial fox, the ninth elder couldn't help but rub his eyes. This was because there was also a six-tailed celestial fox in the crystal ball. How is this possible? The six-tailed celestial fox, which hadn't appeared for over 20 years, actually appeared among the candidates for the celestial fox saintess this time. Hu Linglong bit her lower lip hard, almost tasting blood. Yudu Yushang. When did such a person appear in Yudu? This person called Yushang was obviously not someone to be trifled with. Her dual-colored eyes and the temperament that made all men look askance made Hu Linglong feel a strong sense of danger. In comparison, the half-beastman fox girl from Fengdu was nothing. Yudu? Yin Sheng revealed a look of curiosity. She was not familiar with the few capitals of the Celestial Fox tribal country. Looks like Yudu is going to make a comeback this time. Yudu is the poorest among the 10 capitals of the Celestial Fox tribal country, Chun Chi said angrily, looking at the crystal ball enviously. She had thought that 5-tailed celestial fox girls like Hu Linglong and Lu Shuiyu were the most powerful candidates for the Celestial Fox saintess this time. Who would have thought that Yun Sheng and Yu Shang would appear out of nowhere? You're called Yu Shang, right? I remember that someone from Yuda mentioned you before. At that time, you were only 5-tailed, right? The ninth elder was in charge of the registration for the celestial fox saintess this time. When he collected the information of all the saintess candidates, he had noted that there should be 4 five-tailed celestial fox girls. They were Hu Linglong, Lu Xiuyu, Lu Yunshuang, and Yuda Yushang. As for the half-beastman fox girl who appeared out of nowhere, Elder Lu's information did not state her exact bloodline. After all, Yin Sheng herself did not know what her bloodline was at that time. The information and test results of the other candidates all corresponded. Only Yushang went from five-tailed to six-tailed. For some people, the difference between five-tailed and six-tailed might be the difference between one-tailed and one-tailed. However, for the Celestial Fox tribe, especially the upper echelons of the tribal country, no one knew better than them that the difference between five-tailed and six-tailed was like heaven and earth. Of course, the prerequisite was that the other party was not a second Yushang. How did Yushang become six-tailed in just a few days' time? This was simply too inconceivable. The ninth elder also wanted to confirm whether Yushang had used any unfair means or tricks. When Yushang came to Hu City, she was still five-tailed. However, Yushang broke through the day before yesterday. Yushang's eyes were full of affection, and her strange eyes had an indescribable charm. Even the ninth elder, a purebred celestial fox, could not help but feel his heart skip a beat. She broke through to six-tailed on her own. Such an answer caused another uproar. That was even more incredible. Being able to break through from five-tailed to six-tailed at such a young age was already very impressive. Moreover, this indirectly showed that Yushang's strength was very strong. The commotion caused by Yushang quickly overshadowed the earlier commotion caused by Yunsheng's six-tailed celestial fox test. After the first round of tests, a total of 26 out of 30 Sanus candidates from the 10 capitals of the celestial fox tribal country remained. The ninth elder was quite satisfied with this result. Congratulations to all of you for passing the first round of tests. Tomorrow, the second round of tests will begin. I believe that all of you already know that the Celestial Fox Sanus election is divided into 3 rounds. The first round is the bloodline test, the second round is the written test, and the third round is the combat test, the ninth elder announced to the crowd. In order to avoid a situation like Hu Sheng's, the Celestial Fox Sanus election this time was the strictest in terms of procedures and requirements. The bloodline test was something that all the Celestial Fox Sanus candidates already knew about when they signed up. It was also the easiest test to pass. The contents of the second round of the written test and the third round of the combat test had not been announced to the public. They would only be announced on the day of the competition. After the ninth elder emphasized the contents of the competition, he left the square with the test results. The people in the various capitals also dispersed. Before leaving, Hu Linglong glared at Yushang. Yushang was all smiles, but when she passed by Yinsheng, she deliberately took a few more glances at her. There was an indescribable sense of provocation in that pair of bewitching eyes. Chapter 1224. Yushang was also a very proud person. She had broken through to 6 tails on the eve of the competition and thought that she would be able to dominate the crowd. Who knew that another unknown person from Fengdu, Yinsheng, would appear? That woman is not simple. Lu Yinshuang glanced at Yushang. It doesn't matter. As long as it's an open competition, there's no need to hide anything. Yinsheng smiled faintly. She would let them see the truth in the upcoming competition. News of 2 six-tails appearing in the first round of the Celestial Fox Sanus test spread throughout the entire Hu capital in less than 2 hours. After Hu Linglong returned home, her face was gloomy and extremely irritated. Even her personal maidservant suffered a calamity. Linglong, I heard that 2 six-tails appeared in today's competition. Is this true? Hu Qian Sui entered the house. Yes, 2 women from Fengdu and Yudu. I don't know if the test is accurate. Let's not talk about that seductive Yushang. That woman from Fengdu even retained her half-beast form. If Elder Jiu had not been present, Hu Linglong would have questioned it on the spot. I don't think it's fake. I heard that Elder Lu found that half-beast from somewhere. It's said that she's a half-beast without a family. Earlier, that woman even injured Lu Xiuyu. If it weren't for her high value and Elder Lu's personality, he wouldn't have allowed her to represent Fengdu in the competition. However, the one you really need to worry about is that woman called Yushang. Hu Qinsui's expression became more serious when he mentioned Yushang. Why, father? What's so great about that Yushang? She's just a six-tails who just broke through. She's only slightly stronger than me at best, Hu Linglong said angrily. If she was given another year or two, she could also break through to six-tails. Don't be too confident. The content of the second round of the theory test is out. Hu Qinsui's expression was profound. The content of the competition for the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate was highly confidential. Hu Qinsui had put in a lot of effort to find out the details. This was definitely an advantage for Hu Linglong. Remember, this opportunity is not easy to come by. You have to be prepared before the others, Hu Qinsui reminded. Father, don't worry. This time, your daughter will definitely not disappoint you. When Hu Linglong heard that, all her previous worries were swept away. Hu Qinsui nodded his head in satisfaction. He recalled Elder Lu's smug expression at the Elders' Assembly today. He felt uncomfortable for a while. Not long after the Celestial Fox Saintess bloodline test ended, the ninth Elder gave 2 copies of the test results to Patriarch Hu Qinxiu and the other Elders. When Elder Lu saw the results of the test, his eyebrows twitched, and he tried his best to hide the surprise in his eyes. Congratulations, Elder Lu. You found a good seedling this time. The other Celestial Fox Elders congratulated Elder Lu. Elder Lu smiled awkwardly. He couldn't tell others that he didn't know that the half-beast human Celestial Fox he found was actually a six-tailed Celestial Fox. Elder Lu, if this girl is chosen as the Celestial Fox Saintess, your Fengdu city will be strengthened. Hu Qinsui said at this time, reminding the other elders that Fengdu city was dominant and might even surpass Hudou city. Sure enough, after hearing this, the expressions of the other elders changed. Hu Qinsui, this old fox. Elder Lu cursed in his heart. Elder Hu, why do you say that? No matter talent, strength, or appearance, Miss Linglong is 1 in a million. What's more, there will be the civil and martial competition. It's hard to say who will be the saintess. Elder Lu said modestly. That's right, but what will be tested in the civil test? Hu Qinsui said with a deep look. That depends on the result of the discussion between the chief, the witch doctor, and the first elder. Elder Lu smiled. Everyone, the competition of the theory test has been decided. For the sake of fairness, I have already given the content of the competition to the third elder. The content will not be announced until tomorrow at the competition venue. The first elder of the Celestial Fox Elders Guild walked in. In his hand, he was holding the content of the civil test discussed with the other 2 leaders of the Celestial Fox Tribal Nation. The third elder will be in charge? Elder Lu looked unhappy, but Hu Qinsui was happy. The third elder and Elder Lu had always been at odds. They were on Hu Qinsui's side. After the meeting, the elders all had their own thoughts. In contrast, the chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qinxiu, was much happier. Since his daughter Hu Sheng was judged to be a waste, he hadn't been so happy in a long time. After confirming the content of the civil test with the elders, he returned to the Celestial Fox Palace. The chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe was a guest in the Celestial Fox Palace these days. Qinxiu, congratulations. I heard that 2 six-tailed Celestial Fox appeared in the Celestial Fox tribe this time. It seems that the Celestial Fox Tribal Nation can make a comeback in this Bahuang tribe competition. Although the chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe didn't participate in the first round of the test, his eyes and ears were very smart. And he also heard from his subordinates that the half-beast woman he had taken a fancy to was actually a six-tailed Celestial Fox. Thank you for your blessings. It's just a six-tailed fox. How can it be compared to other tribes, especially a genius like the young chief LV? Hu Qinxiu was modest. Although Hu Qinxiu was happy, he wasn't a blindly optimistic person. Although there were 2 six-tailed and 2 five-tailed, compared to the other saintesses and young chiefs of the Bakra Orcs, the candidates of the Celestial Fox tribe saintess, except for Hu Linglong, most of them weren't of noble birth. It was said that some of them didn't even have a clear background. Such a person, even if her talent was good, could not be compared to the other proud sons and daughters of the other tribes who had been baptized by the beast god altar since young and received the best resources. Even if the candidate was finally confirmed, she still needed to be properly trained and completely transformed into a saintess that could be used by the Celestial Fox tribe. Hee, they're going to be a family soon. There's no need to be so polite. The chief of the Nine Phoenix tribe chuckled. Chief, a Celestial Fox soldier came forward and whispered. Hu Qianqiu's face that was full of smiles suddenly darkened. Old chief, there are some matters in the palace. Qianqiu will take his leave first. If you're interested, you can follow the third elder to the Celestial Fox Temple to watch the theory test. Hu Qianqiu hurriedly said a few words and left. In the Celestial Fox Palace, several soldiers stopped a beautiful woman in white. I beg you, let me see the chief. The beautiful woman's appearance was elegant, but her expression was very haggard. She begged the soldiers bitterly, but no one paid attention to her. If Yinsheng saw her, she would be very surprised, because this woman's appearance was almost the same as her mother, Hu Jiuxing. Chapter 1225. The woman's pleas did not gain any sympathy from the soldiers. Madam, please don't make things difficult for us. The chief is greeting an important guest. Seeing you like this, he will punish you again. The Celestial Fox soldiers coldly pushed the woman away. How dare you? How can you treat the chief's wife like this? The maid behind the woman scolded. It turned out that this woman who looked like Hu Jiuxing was actually the wife of the Celestial Fox people's chief, Hu Rulin. The Celestial Fox tribal nation did not have an emperor. The chief and elders were the highest rulers. The chief's wife's identity was equivalent to the queen of a nation. She should have a high position and power. However, this woman in front of them had no position in the Celestial Fox Palace. All these years, Hu Qianqiu had taken in a large number of Celestial Fox beauties into the palace and completely ignored this so-called chief's wife of the Celestial Fox people. The specific reason was that this chief's wife, who was once known as the #1 beauty of the Celestial Fox, gave birth to a trash daughter. After this trash daughter became the saintess, it was rumored that she was sold to the boundless land and lost her innocence. Although the chief had kept this matter under wraps, the Celestial Fox Palace had long spread the news. After the news spread, the chief's wife, who was not favored to begin with, was even less valued. Even some beauties who had just entered the palace dared to bully her. Hu Rulin missed her daughter and begged Hu Qianqiu many times to send people to the boundless land to search for her daughter's whereabouts. However, she was mercilessly rejected by Hu Qianqiu every time. That trash is not worth the tribe's manpower to search for her. Hu Rulin clearly remembered Hu Qianqiu's ruthless look. However, she still did not give up and would look for Hu Qianqiu every few days. Hu Rulin, are you done? If you were not tested as a five-tailed celestial fox, I would not have married you. Don't forget, in terms of status, you are just an orphan. Hu Qianqiu walked over with a cold face. Hu Rulin was an orphan. She was born in the wasteland and was adopted by the previous Fox clan leader. She and Hu Qianqiu were childhood sweethearts. That year, Hu Qianqiu had chosen Hu Rulin out of countless women of marriageable age because she was beautiful, gentle, and had the bloodline of the five-tailed celestial fox. Hu Qianqiu was in love with her for a while, especially when she gave birth to the six-tailed celestial fox bloodline Hu Sheng. However, everything changed after Hu Sheng was found to be a good-for-nothing. Hu Qianqiu was the clan leader, but he had a useless daughter. This matter became Hu Qianqiu's biggest flaw. For nearly 20 years, he had been brooding over this matter. She believed that she wouldn't have such a dream for no reason. Madam, what are you doing? Hu Rulin's maid was puzzled. I want to leave the Celestial Fox Palace. This is no longer a place for me. Hu Rulin smiled miserably. In Hu Qianqiu's heart, there was only the glory of being the leader of the Celestial Fox people. The Celestial Fox Saintess election was in full swing. He wouldn't care about his daughter, Hu Sheng. After leaving the Celestial Fox Palace, no matter if it was the 8 desolate continent or the boundless continent, Even if she had to risk her life, she would find her daughter, Hu Sheng. That night, the master and maid packed their luggage and quietly left the Celestial Fox Palace. Standing outside a side door of the palace, Hu Ruolin was a little timid. After she married Hu Qinxiu, she hadn't left the Celestial Fox Palace for decades. Hudo was no longer the Hudo of the past. For a moment, she didn't know where to find her daughter, Hu Sheng. In her confusion, Hu Ruolin could only lead her maid and wander around the streets of Hudo. It was already around the time when the lanterns were lit. The bustling streets of Hudo were filled with pedestrians. Due to the Celestial Fox Saint Selection ceremony, there were a lot of people coming in and out of Hudo during this period of time. Hu Ruolin walked among the crowd. When she thought of her daughter in her dream last night, she felt sad. Unknowingly, she was separated from her maid, Guizhi. Io, don't you have eyes? How dare you bump into me? By the time Hu Ruolin realized it, she was already on a completely unfamiliar street. In the midst of the crowd, she bumped into a fierce-looking man. Chapter 12:26. That person grabbed Hu Ruolin and was about to swear. Just as he was about to curse, he suddenly saw a light in front of his eyes. Hu Ruolin's appearance was one of the best in the Celestial Fox tribe. Otherwise, Hu Qinxiu would not have married her. Although she was a mother now, her beauty was not any less than before. In the eyes of this passerby, she was like a celestial being. Sorry, I was distracted for a moment. Hu Ruolin stammered and anxiously looked around for the servant girl. However, the servant girl, Guizhi, was nowhere to be seen. It's okay, it's okay. It's fate that we bumped into a beauty. The Celestial Fox people had a wretched look on his face and reached out to touch Hu Ruolin's face. How dare you? Do you know who I am? I'm the tribe's. Hu Ruolin had never been molested before. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She was about to reveal her identity. However, she thought about it again. Since she had left the Celestial Fox Palace, she was no longer the tribe leader's wife. Moreover, no one had seen her as the tribe leader's wife all these years. Who are you? Beauty, why don't you tell me? The Heavenly Fox clan member was considered to have some power in Hu City. Seeing Hu Ruolin's beauty and the fact that she was alone, he had evil thoughts and wanted to snatch her back. Hu Ruolin panicked and wanted to escape. However, she was surrounded by people. She stumbled like a headless fly. Help me! Hu Ruolin called for help. However, the passers-by were indifferent. Get out of the way. This woman is my servant girl. She stole money and ran away. No one is allowed to interfere. The Celestial Fox people laughed sinisterly like an eagle pouncing on a chick. Stop! Someone in the crowd shouted. 2 men and a woman walked out of the crowd. With their backs to the light, the Celestial Fox people could only see a tall figure. Where did this brat come from? How dare you interfere in my business? Let me tell you, I'm the son of the second elder of the Elder Council. The Celestial Fox people shouted. Even if it's Celestial Fox, an elder of the Council of Elders, she can't kidnap a civilian girl on the street. You said this woman is your maid. What is her name, and what did she steal? The leading man's voice was cold, and his body emitted a chilling aura. The Celestial Fox passerby was speechless. When Hu Ruolin saw this person, it was as if she had seen her savior. She hurriedly said, Young master, I am not their maid. My maid and I have just arrived in Hu City. Due to the crowded streets, we accidentally got separated. She looked up and met the eyes of the kind-hearted person who saw injustice. When Hu Ruolin and the kind-hearted passerby saw each other's faces clearly, they were both astonished. Hu Ruolin was astonished. It was this passerby who had an extraordinary appearance. It was a young man. He was not very old, and his clothes were very low-key. However, from head to toe, he emitted an aristocratic temperament. Compared to the Celestial Fox people's leader, Qinxiu, he was even more handsome. When a young man looked at Hu Ruolin's face, he was also somewhat unnatural. Young master. Yaoji, who was standing at the side, could not help but call out when she saw that the 2 people were looking at each other strangely. The young master had never paid any attention to the young women in the clan. Why was he stunned when he saw this married woman today? Could it be that the young master liked this kind of woman? Yaoji's expression was unfriendly. She looked at Hu Rulin a few more times and found that this fox woman was indeed very beautiful. No wonder she was bullied by the passerby, with ulterior motives on the way. These three passers-by who were walking on the streets of Wu City and saw injustice were the young master of the Nine Phoenix clan, Lu, and his two subordinates, who had arrived in Wu City in disguise. In order to stop his grandfather from matchmaking, Lu had rushed all the way here. He had just arrived in Wu City in the evening. He had wanted to find an inn to rest, but he happened to meet this woman. It was just a moment of injustice. Little did he know that the woman in front of him looked somewhat similar to Yunsheng. Especially that pair of black eyes, Lu was absent-minded for a moment. It was not until Hu Rulin was a little uncomfortable under his gaze that he realized that he had been rude. Lu had met Yunsheng twice in the Dutian blood realm and had a deep affection for her. It was also because of Yunsheng that he was so repulsed when his grandfather mentioned the marriage between the Nine Phoenix clan and the Celestial Fox clan in the past few years. Although he had long known that it was impossible for him and Yunsheng to be together, Lu still had a faint hope that perhaps he could meet Yunsheng again one day. Just now, he also felt that this woman's back view was somewhat similar to Yunsheng's, so he could not help but interfere. From the way this woman's hair was done, it was obvious that she was married. Although she was alone, her clothes and manner of speech showed that she was from a wealthy family. She was definitely not a maid or servant. Moreover, she was a celestial fox. Yunsheng was from a human race. She would never have anything to do with this woman in front of him. Where did this brat come from? Since when is it your turn to meddle in my business? The celestial fox passerby saw that the beauty had been snatched away and became even more annoyed. He was about to step forward and make trouble. The celestial fox passerby looked at Lu's travel-worn appearance and knew that he was not from the village at first glance. Moreover, he was young, so it was already obvious that he was easy to bully. Get out of my way. Don't get in my way. The celestial fox passerby reached out to grab Hu Rulin. She was so frightened that she hurriedly retreated behind Lu. Seeing that the celestial fox passerby was so rude, Lu's expression changed abruptly. He took a step forward. On the surging street, the passers-by, within dozens of meters, only felt an invisible pressure pressing down on them. The crowded crowd was forced to create a gap of more than a meter. Before the celestial fox passerby who intended to provoke him approached, he felt as if his chest had been hit by a hammer. Before he could even make a muffled sound, his whole body flew out like a kite with a broken string. After flying out, he fell limply to the ground and never got up again. He's dead. A nosy passerby went forward to take a look and found that the celestial fox passerby was like mud from head to toe. There was not a complete bone to be found. Such fierce strength. To be able to turn a purebred heavenly fox into meat paste with just one collision. Where exactly did this young man come from? The onlookers all took a few steps back in fright and looked at Lu in horror. Let's go. Lu turned around and was about to leave without a word. Wait a minute. Hu Rulin looked around and then looked at Lu and the other two who were about to leave. After being separated from Guizhi, she was penniless and did not even know where to go tonight. Woman, young master kindly saved you. Why are you still pestering him? Yaoji was not in a good mood. Young master, I have lost my luggage and money. Can you take me in for a few days? When I find a maid, I will return the money to you. Hu Rulin plucked up her courage. Chapter 12:27. Hu Rulin thought that she would be rejected. She did not expect that the cold-looking young man would agree to her request. Hu Rulin thanked them profusely. She followed the three of them to an inn in the city and stayed there. After finding an inn, Yaoji and Gray Feather were puzzled. Young clan leader, how could you agree to that woman's request so rashly? We don't even know who she is. Yaoji was especially displeased. Before the young clan leader left, he had ordered the two of them to call him young master in public and not reveal his identity. But now, as soon as he turned around, he brought a woman to his side. Although the woman looked weak and incompetent, who knew if she was a wolf in sheep's clothing? After all, this was the celestial fox tribal country, so it was better to be cautious. She looks a little like an old friend of mine. Just do her a favor." Green did not know why he agreed to a request from passerby. Apart from some similarities in appearance, the woman named Hu Ruolin did not look like Yunsheng at all. Hu Ruolin was like a fresh white jasmine, making people feel pity for her. Yunsheng, on the other hand, was like a thorny rose. Anyone who touched her would be covered in bruises and bruises. But it was precisely this kind of temperament that attracted Green's attention. "Well, I'll keep her for a few days. Gray Feather, how's the investigation going?" Green did not think so. He had secretly checked that Hu Ruolin did not know fighting energy or magic, so she would not be in any danger. "Young clan leader, I've inquired from the shopkeeper. The Celestial Fox Saintess ceremony has already gone through one round. I heard that there were 2 6-tailed celestial foxes and 2 5-tailed celestial foxes in the bloodline test today." Gray Feather peeked at the young clan leader's reaction when he said this. Not to mention the 5-tailed celestial fox. The celestial fox people must be overjoyed this time. There were even 2 6-tailed celestial foxes. The old patriarch must have heard the news, and his determination to marry Celestial Fox must have been even more resolute. "So what if she's 6-tailed? If I don't want to marry her, it's useless even if she's 9-tailed." Green snorted. Yaoji watched from the side and was secretly delighted. It seemed that the young chieftain really hated the women of the Celestial Fox tribe. In addition, tomorrow, the second round of the Celestial Fox Saintess ceremony will be held at the Celestial Fox Temple. "Young patriarch, do you want to take a look?" Gray Feather asked. "It's good to have a look. I want to see what kind of people the Celestial Fox Saintess selection has produced." Green decided to go to the Celestial Fox Shrine tomorrow morning to have a look. After staying at the inn, Hu Ruolin calmed down a little. She also knew that she had only met Lu by chance. Even if she did not find Gue Ji, she could not continue to follow Lu and the others. It was just that in the vast sea of people, she did not know where to find her daughter. "Shang, you must bless me and give me some hints as to where I can find you." Hu Ruolin sighed. She lay on the bed and closed her eyes. Hu Ruolin softly chanted. At this moment, a very weak fluctuation appeared on her body. The fluctuation formed a milky white light mist on Hu Ruolin's body. In the light mist, Hu Ruolin fell into a deep sleep. This light mist was not an ordinary mist. It was a special kind of inheritance that was triggered after Hu Ruolin used her own Celestial Fox inheritance. Hu Ruolin was a Celestial Fox. The Fox Elder had tested her long ago and found that she did not have any fighting energy or magic talent. However, Hu Ruolin had an inheritance that was different from the other Celestial Fox inheritances. It was this inheritance that made the old patriarch of the Fox tribe think highly of Hu Ruolin. That was, Hu Ruolin could use dreams to predict the future. This inheritance was called foresight. Therefore, after Hu Ruolin had that dream last night, she hoped that Hu Qianqiu could find her daughter, Hu Sheng, because she knew that her daughter, Hu Sheng, must have returned to the 8 wastelands. In the dream, Hu Ruolin saw a person in front of her. "Sheng-er," Hu Ruolin called out. Hu Sheng, who was in front of her, did not respond. She just walked forward slowly. She watched as her daughter walked faster and faster until she finally disappeared into a speck of light. "Sheng-er, turn around and look at me," Hu Ruolin called out, but Hu Sheng refused to turn around. Ugh! Hu Ruolin sat up in shock. She looked outside and saw that the sky was already bright. In the dream, why was her daughter walking further and further away? A sense of uneasiness grew wildly like weeds. Hu Ruolin rubbed her temples and suddenly remembered. In the dream just now, she seemed to have seen the scene where her daughter was at somewhere before. Celestial Fox Temple. That is the Celestial Fox Temple of the Celestial Fox tribe. When Hu Ruolin and Hu Qianqiu got married, the place where they held the Celestial Fox wedding was at the Celestial Fox Temple. Hu Ruolin remembered that there was a Celestial Fox statue in the Celestial Fox Temple. In the dream, she could vaguely see the Celestial Fox statue. Could it be that Sheng-er is reminding me to go to the Celestial Fox Temple to find her in the dream? Hu Ruolin muttered to herself. She had no clue at this time. Since there was a clue in the dream, she would not let it go. Hurulin decided to go to the Celestial Fox Temple today. She hurriedly got up. Just as she walked out of the door, she saw Lu, Yaoji, and the others who were also about to go out. "You're also going out?" Hurulin already knew last night that the kind young man who saved her was called Lu. He came from a Nine-Luan tribe and came to Hu City to do business. Hurulin had a good impression of Lu. This young man not only had a good appearance and temperament, but he was also very polite to people. He was the type of man that every mother would be assured to introduce to their daughters. Lu was also very generous. After learning about Hurulin's predicament, he had already paid for her room for 10 days. Rulin could walk around freely during this period and look for her maidservant. "Madam Rulin, we heard that the Celestial Fox Temple in the city is holding the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition. We plan to go and watch the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition," Lu said in a friendly manner. "Saintess Selection Competition?" Hearing this, Hurulin was a little absent-minded. She had almost forgotten that the most lively thing in the city was the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition. In order to establish a relationship with the Nine-Luan tribe, Hu Qinxiu and the Council of Elders were very concerned about the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition. That man did not care about his daughter's safety. Instead, he tried his best to find a saintess to replace his daughter in order to curry favor with other tribes. Hurulin's heart was filled with sorrow. "Young Master Lu, I also want to go to the Celestial Fox Temple to watch the fun. Can you take me with you?" Hurulin forced a smile. Yaoji was a little unhappy and was about to make things difficult for her. "To be honest, young master, I came to Hu City this time to look for my daughter. She also came to participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition." Hurulin was afraid that they would refuse, so she lied. "I see. In that case, let's go together. After all, the Celestial Fox Temple is a public place. Anyone can go and watch." Lu did not mind. Thus, he brought Hurulin to the Celestial Fox Temple. Chapter 1228. The Duqian Fox Temple was an important place in the Celestial Fox tribal nation. In modern times, it was similar to a temple with the most incense. Once a heavenly fox was born in Hoodoo, its parents and clan would pray for blessings. When a celestial fox died, she would also be cremated at the Celestial Fox Temple. Even celestial fox from other cities would go to the Celestial Fox Temple to burn incense and worship their ancestors when they arrived at Hu City. The news of the second round of the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Ceremony, the theory test, was held at the Celestial Fox Temple. The next day, the crowd that came to the Celestial Fox Temple to spectate almost flattened the stone steps of the Celestial Fox Temple. When the third elder, who was in charge of hosting the second round of the theory test, saw the situation, he had no choice but to deploy 3,000 Celestial Fox soldiers to block the crowd outside. After resting for a night, Yunsheng stepped into the Celestial Fox Temple. What greeted him was a series of antique buildings, pavilions, terraces, and pagodas. Between the buildings, there was a large pool of green water. The pond was sparkling, and in the middle was an ivory statue that was almost 100 meters tall. The statue was lifelike, and it was a celestial fox. Behind it were 8 shocking tails. Anyone who had been to the Duqian Fox Temple would know that this statue was built by the people of the Celestial Fox tribal nation to commemorate the strongest Celestial Fox people in the history of the Celestial Fox people, Huyin. Back then, when the humans of the Boundless Continent and the Bakra orcs clashed, Celestial Fox Huyin and the chief of the Black Qilin tribe, Yishio, sacrificed their lives to stop the humans from the 8 barren lands. They helped the Bakra orcs escape to the 8 barren lands and preserve their bloodline, making an indelible contribution. It was just a pity that in the end, Huyin died in battle in the Boundless World. Even the Celestial Fox relic's whereabouts were unknown. The written exam this time was held by the pond under the statue of Celestial Fox people Chang Huyin. A large number of Celestial Fox soldiers blocked the crowd a kilometer away from the pond. More than 20 saintesses from the 10 capital cities gathered by the pond. Lu, Hurulin, and the others had just arrived. Although the crowd was densely packed, the gray feather guard had a cold expression on his face. When he swept his gaze over the crowd, the people beside him were so scared that they immediately took a few steps back. Lu and Hu Ruolin easily arrived in front of them. His green eyes turned and swept across the 20 or so Saintess candidates in Celestial Fox's group. Noticing that Hu Linglong was among them, Green's eyes flashed with unconcealable disgust. As expected, that woman was also there. Hu Ruolin saw that the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates were all gorgeously dressed. Thinking that her daughter's life was unknown at this time, she felt a burst of bitterness in her heart. They're all coquettish women. I really don't know what the old patriarch sees in them. Yaoji pouted disdainfully. At this moment, Yaoji's gaze changed. She noticed a particularly eye-catching masked woman in the crowd. Why is she here? Yaoji was naturally referring to Yunsheng. Among these Celestial Fox Saintesses, only Yunsheng was masked. Therefore, when Yaoji mentioned her, the others also noticed her. That person is the female doctor in Songdu. She was the one who got in our way earlier. Yaoji had always been brooding about Yunsheng. She was clearly a female doctor in Songdu. How did she suddenly become a Saintess candidate? There must be something strange in this. Is this the woman you said could summon the subdivine beast? Lu could not help but pay more attention to the masked woman. Unfortunately, the crowd was too far away. He could barely see her back. Silence. Third Elder held a box in his hand with a solemn expression. He led more than 20 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates and bowed respectfully to the fox statue of Patriarch Hu Yin. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, the Celestial Fox Saintess represents the Celestial Fox clan. Not only is she of noble lineage, but she is also good at both civil and martial arts. After an overnight discussion between the Patriarch, the Council of Elders, and the Great Witch Doctor, the content of the culture test for the Celestial Fox Saintess selection has been confirmed. It is in this box in my hand. Third Elder said with conviction. The eyes of more than 20 candidates lit up. They stared at the box with shining eyes. Hu Linglong looked at the box with a hint of joy at the corner of her mouth. This time, even God was on her side. The content of the culture test is related to Patriarch Hu Yin of the Celestial Fox people. You will need to learn Patriarch Hu Yin's famous witchcraft, the corpse puppet technique, in 1 hour. As soon as Third Elder finished speaking, the crowd became restless. Corpse puppet technique. As soon as these 3 words were mentioned, the Celestial Fox clan became restless. Even the expressions of more than 20 candidates changed slightly. The corpse puppet technique was said to be the unique sorcery technique of the clan leader of the Heavenly Fox clan, Hu Yin. Back then, she had used this sorcery technique to make the pursuers of the human clan change sides at the last moment of the war between the human clan and the beast clan in the Boundless Continent, thus delaying the human clan's progress. Regarding this witchcraft skill, the upper echelons of the Celestial Fox tribal nation had always regarded it as a treasure. They worshipped and preserved it. In the Celestial Fox tribal nation, there were only a handful of people who knew the corpse puppet technique. They did not expect that this Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony would include the corpse puppet technique as the content of the culture test. For the more than 20 candidates of the Celestial Fox clan, this had both advantages and disadvantages. The advantage was that even if they were not selected in the end, they would still learn the corpse puppet technique. For them, even if they were not selected and returned to the capital city, their status in their respective cities or clans would be greatly improved. The disadvantage was that since the corpse puppet technique was one of the witchcraft skills that made Patriarch Hu Yin of the Celestial Fox people famous, it was no ordinary witchcraft skill. In just 2 short hours, it was practically impossible for him to learn and apply the technique. As soon as Third Elder finished speaking, more than 20 meditation magic arrays floated above the open pond. A scroll was placed in each magic array. In the next 1 hour, these candidates of the Saintess would meditate in the magic arrays and comprehend the corpse puppet technique. It was the corpse puppet technique? Without batting an eyelid, Yunsheng chose one of the magic arrays and walked over. She noticed that Hu Linglong could not hide the smile on her face. As for Yu Shang and Lu Yunshuang, their expressions were very calm. The more than 20 candidates of the Celestial Fox Saintess opened the scroll as soon as they entered the magic array. What's this? Yun Sheng frowned. The ancient characters of Celestial Fox were written on the scroll. The candidates of the Celestial Fox Saintess had also opened their scrolls. Some people could not help but grumble softly when they saw the ancient characters of Celestial Fox. The ancient characters of Celestial Fox were recorded in an ancient language. In today's Celestial Fox clan, only those purebred Celestial Fox clans with ancient family roots and some nobles would learn it. It was impossible for ordinary Celestial Fox hybrids to learn the ancient characters of Celestial Fox. More than 30% of the candidates of the Celestial Fox Saintess this time were Celestial Fox hybrids. One could imagine how many candidates of the Saintess were stumped by the ancient characters of the corpse puppet technique. As expected, they were discriminating against Celestial Fox hybrids. However, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you again this time. Yin Sheng sneered in her heart. Chapter 1229. 1 hour was a very limited time. No matter how difficult the scroll was, the 20 or so Celestial Fox Saintess candidates had no choice but to study it. Light flickered in the meditation magic array. The Celestial Fox girls in the magic array were all as beautiful as a painting. Such scenery reflected in the blue sky and clear water was a unique sight. Hu Linglong could be said to be the most relaxed among all of them. Last night, she had already learned about the contents of the theory examination from her father, Hu Qiansui. Third Elder was a well-known conservative in the Celestial Fox tribal nation. In his opinion, it was a disgrace to let a Celestial Fox mixed blood become a Celestial Fox Saintess. Therefore, he set up an additional obstacle and copied all the corpse puppet technique into the ancient Celestial Fox language. I'd like to see what that Celestial Fox be *starred who came out of nowhere can do this time. Recalling the six-tailed Celestial Fox that appeared in the crystal ball yesterday, Hu Linglong's heart was filled with jealousy. The theory examination this time would not be a problem for those two, would it? Hu Linglong's seductive eyes fell on the magic array where Yu Shang and Lu Yunshuang were. The two girls were reading the scroll seriously and mumbling something under their breath. However, no matter how good they were, they could not catch up to her. Hu Linglong's lips curled up. Hu Linglong had learned the basics of ancient witchcraft like the corpse puppet technique when she was young. Now that she had learned it, it was much easier for her to learn compared to the average person. 1 hour passed quickly. More than 20 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates walked out of the magic array. Except for a few specific people, most of them had a nervous look on their faces. Time's up. Everyone, recite the contents of the corpse puppet technique. Those who recite more than half of it will advance to the next round. Third Elder said. The three girls from Songdu were the first to go. The first to go was Hua Yinluo. She recited about 80% of the content and successfully advanced to the next round. Feng Lian and Qin, you had some trouble reciting, but they managed to recite about 50% of the words and successfully entered the second half of the round. The next few saintesses from the capital cities were not so lucky. Among them, several of them were mixed-race heavenly foxes. Among the 9 of them, 4 of them were eliminated because they could not recite more than 50% of the scripture. When it was Hu Linglong's turn, she walked up. Her voice was clear and melodious like jade beads rolling on a jade plate. Without missing a single word, she completely memorized the entire corpse puppet art. Miss Linglong is indeed talented and intelligent. Third Elder nodded his head in praise. Humph. Chen Qi snorted with a look of disdain. She was certain that Hu Linglong had cheated. The few purebred Celestial Fox from Hudou also successfully passed. You go up first. When it was the turn of the few Celestial Fox Saintess candidates from Fengdu, Chen Qi gave Yin Sheng a push. She looked like she was waiting to watch a good show. Yin Sheng was a Celestial Fox hybrid. It was impossible for her to have learned the ancient Celestial Fox characters. She had attracted a lot of attention when she was found to be six-tailed. This time, it was her turn to make a fool of herself. It would be best if she was eliminated as well. Yin Sheng shrugged non-committally and walked up. She began to recite the scripture. She continued until she was done. What the hell is that bastard reciting? She didn't get a single word right. How embarrassing. Qin Yu could not help but laugh when she heard Yunsheng finish reciting. Hu Linglong was amused at first, but then she felt that something was amiss. This is... Third elder hesitated. Good memory, Lu Yunshuang said calmly from the side. Looks like you beat me to it. Yu Shang sighed with some regret. What was that female physician doing? Yaoji and Huiyu had good hearing. They listened while Yun Sheng recited the scripture in a mess. That girl is really interesting. She recited the corpse puppet technique backwards. Hu Ruolin covered her mouth and chuckled. Lu nodded as well. She had a better impression of that female physician. You recited the corpse puppet technique backwards. The third elder had also heard that one of the popular six-tailed celestial foxes this time was a low-grade mixed blood. He had received Hu Qianqiu's instructions and planned to use the corpse puppet technique copied in ancient characters to make things difficult for this six-tailed hybrid. He did not expect her to really recite the corpse puppet technique backwards within an hour. Third elder only said to recite it. He didn't say whether I had to recite it in order or backwards. Yin Sheng smiled. She must have hit the jackpot. If today's competition had been any other type of celestial fox witchcraft recorded in ancient characters, she would have admitted defeat. Yin Sheng did not recognize any of the ancient characters in celestial fox. However, Yin Sheng had already learned the corpse puppet technique in the celestial fox tomb. When she thought of this, Yin Sheng could not help but glance at the statue of the celestial fox people Chong Hu Yin. Could all this be because Chong Hu Yin was protecting her? Thus, Yin Sheng also successfully passed the test. The first half of the test was quickly completed. Lu Yunshuang and Yu Shang also passed without a hitch. Several of the 20-odd celestial fox Sanus candidates were eliminated after the recitation round. Only 20 candidates were left. Witchcraft skills focus on application. In the first half of the test, you've already competed on memory. In the second half, you'll be competing on application. The corpse puppet technique is a unique witchcraft that can control people's souls. In the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, whoever can control the most people will win. If they can't control even one person, they'll be eliminated. The winner who hypnotizes the most people will have the right to go first in the next round of the Wushu test. After the third elder finished speaking, he clapped his hands, and 100 heavenly fox soldiers stepped out of their ranks. These celestial fox soldiers were all carefully selected by third elder. They were all elites among celestial fox soldiers who had experienced the battlefield. Compared to the average celestial fox soldier, their willpower was also stronger, making it difficult for them to be bewitched. Among the 20 celestial fox Sanus candidates who had just learned the corpse puppet technique, more than 80% of them were reluctant to use it to hypnotize 100 celestial fox soldiers. Lu Yuer of Quandu eliminated. After the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, none of the celestial fox Sanus candidates were successfully hypnotized. Wang Chang of Quandu eliminated. As time passed, more and more people were eliminated. The corpse puppet technique is not something that just anyone can learn, third elder thought to himself as he watched. It was now Hua Yinluo's turn. Before her, only one celestial fox Sanus candidate managed to hypnotize a person and successfully pass the written test. Hua Yinluo took a deep breath and activated her celestial fox inheritance, Fox Shadow Traceless. Beside her, a Hua Yinluo that looked exactly like her appeared, using a celestial fox clone to use the corpse puppet technique together. This girl is quite clever. Third elder nodded approvingly when he saw this. Using a celestial fox clone? This time, Hua Yinluo is too clever for her own good. Yin Sheng shook her head. Chapter 1230. The celestial fox doppelganger seemed to enhance the effect of the corpse puppet technique, but the celestial fox doppelganger would disperse Hua Yinluo's mental strength. In this way, the effect of the corpse puppet technique would be greatly reduced. Therefore, Yin Sheng would not use the celestial fox doppelganger for this round of the competition. Hua Yinluo's talent in learning the corpse puppet technique was better than the other celestial fox Sanus candidates. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, she had controlled 4 celestial fox soldiers. So far, she had the best result among all the candidates. Sangdu Hua Yinluo advance. As soon as the third elder finished speaking, Hua Yinluo's whole body went limp. She felt as if her bones were about to fall apart. I'm so tired. I won't use this corpse puppet technique a second time, even if you beat me to death, Hua Yinluo complained, but her face was full of joy. In any case, she had passed the written test. She also knew that it was impossible for her to become the saintess with her current strength. But the main thing was that after passing the written test, her status would skyrocket when she returned to the Hua family. At least, she would no longer have to be afraid of the official mother and sister of the Hua family. Seeing that Hua Yinluo had also controlled 4 soldiers, Qin Yu stepped forward. After the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, Qin Yu had already controlled 3 soldiers, but her mental strength was almost exhausted. There's still half an incense stick to burn. No matter what, I can't be worse than Hua Yinluo. Qin Yu was also stubborn. She had always felt that she was the least valued among the candidates in Sangdu, but this time, she wanted to be the first. She gritted her teeth and muttered something under her breath as she stared at one of the soldiers. This woman was still trying to be brave at this time. Yin Sheng had already seen that Qin Yu's mental strength was on the verge of exhaustion. This state was very dangerous. If she was careless, she would likely be counterattacked by the corpse puppet technique. Sure enough, after a while, Qin Yu gave a short shout, and her eyes were full of pain. The third elder stepped forward to check. Qin Wevtsong Du has overused her spiritual power. She has already controlled 3 soldiers and advanced to the next round. Saintess candidates, I'm here to remind you that the corpse puppet spell is not an ordinary spell. Its side effects are huge. If you use it too much, you may injure yourself. Remember that. After the third elder reminded everyone, the competition continued. After learning their lesson from Qin Yu, the Saintess candidates became much more cautious. Feng Lian controlled the 2 of them and successfully advanced. When it was Hu Linglong's turn, she walked forward with a smug look on her face. When she walked past Yu Shang, Yun Sheng, and Lu Yunshuang, she even cast a provocative glance at them. Clearly, she had already viewed the 3 of them as her strongest opponents. Hu Linglong boasted that she was the most proficient in the corpse puppet technique. As soon as she stepped onto the stage, she immediately began to chant. Her foxy eyes revealed an alluring light. The celestial fox soldier who met her gaze only felt a numbing sensation run up the soles of his feet. His entire being became muddle-headed. Hu Linglong's corpse puppet technique progressed very smoothly. In less than a third of an incense stick's time, she had already controlled 10 celestial fox soldiers. After those valiant and warlike soldiers were controlled, they surrounded Hu Linglong like loyal dogs. The onlookers could not help but sigh. This corpse puppet technique is quite impressive. If we encounter it in the Bahuang clan competition, it will be somewhat threatening. Green watched from the side and could not help but become more cautious. However, he did not know if this corpse puppet technique was also effective on experts. How many people do you think Hu Linglong will be able to control in the end? Unlike the envious faces of the other celestial fox Saintess candidates, in Yin Sheng's eyes, Hu Linglong's corpse puppet technique was very crude. She must have learned the corpse puppet technique before, but due to her aptitude, she should have only learned about 30% of it. At this level, the closer she is to the end, especially in the last third of an incense stick's time, the more her mental strength is exhausted. The speed of controlling people will also be much slower. About 25 people, slightly stronger than me. Lu Yunshuang's face was still frosty. Yun Sheng also nodded. Her concerns were similar to Lu Yunshuang's. However, Yun Sheng suddenly noticed that Yu Shang, who was not far away, was staring at Hu Linglong. A hint of calculation flashed across her blue-green eyes, which resembled those of a Persian cat. Was that woman up to no good? Yin Sheng's heart skipped a beat. Everyone's attention was now on Hu Linglong on the stage. No one noticed Yu Shang's strange behavior. Only Yun Sheng felt that something was amiss. Something seemed to float out of Yu Shang's hand. That thing, mixed with the sunlight, blew toward Hu Linglong. Just as Yun Sheng and Lu Yunchuang had guessed, in the last third of an incense stick's time, Hu Linglong's mental strength was exhausted, and the speed at which she used the corpse puppet technique became slower and slower. She did not notice that Yu Shang had done something to her body. So hot. Hu Linglong felt as if something was burning on her body. Everything before her was white, as if she was being illuminated by the dazzling sunlight. Hu Linglong's consciousness began to blur, and she muttered to herself, so hot, I want to take off my clothes. Hu Linglong ignored everyone's stares and suddenly unbuttoned her clothes, leaving only a red doo-doo on her body. Whoosh! The whole place was in an uproar. Everyone was looking at this strange scene. As Hu Linglong took off her clothes, she pounced on the celestial fox soldier, moaning like a clingy loach. Miss Linglong, what's wrong with you? Third Elder was shocked. How did Hu Linglong, who had been perfectly fine, suddenly become like this? Unexpectedly, Hu Linglong did not hear him at all. She pounced on the celestial fox soldiers like a hungry wolf. Several celestial fox Sanus candidates from Hu Capital saw this and hurriedly tried to pull her away, but she pushed them all away. When Yun Sheng saw this, she took a step forward. A few needles flashed on her fingertips, and she stabbed them into Hu Linglong's Rinzhong and Qihai acupoints. Only then did Hu Linglong stop. Her body went limp, and she fainted. What's going on? Third Elder was still in shock. He looked at Yun Sheng, then at Hu Linglong. This time it was really troublesome. Hu Linglong was Hu Qian Sui's daughter. She had made such a big fool of herself in the Heavenly Fox literature exam. If this news were to spread, Hu Linglong's reputation would be ruined. She must have overused her mental strength and suffered a backlash, Yun Sheng explained, but her gaze fell on Yu Shang, who was not far away. This woman had secretly done something. Yu Shang glanced at Yun Sheng, and a cold smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. Only the two of them knew what had just happened. Chapter 1231. Yun Sheng did not expose Yu Shang's trick, but Yu Shang had already noticed Yun Sheng. That half-blood bitch had seen through her trick. Yu Shang's eyes were filled with fury. After Hu Linglong was rescued and woke up, she was embarrassed and angry when she found out about her embarrassing behavior. She rushed to Yun Sheng. It's you. What did you do to me? This human bitch was a doctor. The situation just now was so strange. She must have done something. Hu Linglong, be more polite. Yun Sheng could not be bothered with this idiot. She did not want to get into another conflict with Hu Linglong. Yu Shang was enjoying the show, waiting for the two of them to fight. When Third Elder saw this, he quickly persuaded Hu Linglong. After all, there were so many people present, and no one had seen Yun Sheng do anything. Hu Linglong's strange behavior could only be attributed to her improper use of the corpse puppet technique. After some calculations, they found that Hu Linglong had controlled a total of 20 celestial fox soldiers. However, because of her embarrassing behavior just now, everyone was looking at her strangely. Hu Linglong wanted to find a hole to hide in. She tried her best to recall, but no matter how hard she tried, she could not figure out what had happened to her. What happened? Lu Yunchuang asked Yun Sheng in a low voice. Someone plotted against us. Yun Sheng glanced at Yu Shang, who was also looking at her coldly. This woman had probably planned to do something to Hu Linglong long ago. Yun Sheng had also checked Hu Linglong's body. There were no signs of poison. Even if she confronted Hu Linglong face to face, others would only say that she was making false accusations. Yu Shang of Yudu's true identity was probably not that simple. Third Elder's expression turned ugly when he heard about Hu Linglong's incident. A few more Celestial Fox Sanus candidates took turns to go up, but most of their results were not as good as Hu Linglong's. Soon, it was the turn of the people from Fengdu. They were also more daunting than dangerous. Lu Yunchuang had received Yun Sheng's reminder and did not use her full strength. She used the corpse puppet technique to successfully control 13 people. Chen Qi's performance was barely satisfactory. She used the corpse puppet technique to control 5 people. Finally, it was Yun Sheng's turn. When Yun Sheng stepped forward, Yu Shang suddenly rushed out and blocked Yun Sheng's path. Third Elder, This kind of competition is too boring. Yushang has a suggestion. I want to compete with her. Yushang glanced at Yinshang. Yinshang and Yushang were the only two selected celestial fox Sanus candidates who possessed the six-tailed celestial fox bloodline. The two of them had completely memorized the corpse puppet technique in the first half of the trial. Coupled with Hu Linglong's failure and her abnormal behavior just now, Yinsheng and Yushang had become the strongest pair. How about it? Do you dare to compete with me? Yushang's blue and green eyes were filled with provocation. This woman had disrupted her plan with just a few needles. Yushang was already hostile towards Yinsheng. How do we compete? Yinsheng also wanted to see what tricks Yushang had up her sleeve. There were too many suspicious points about this woman. She might as well compete with her and find out the truth. Both of them had six-tailed celestial fox bloodlines. What if they really competed? Third Elder pondered in his heart. Let them compete. A voice suddenly rang out in Third Elder's mind. Third Elder was slightly startled. It was clan leader Hu Qinqiu's voice. Could it be that the clan leader was also watching nearby? Third Elder no longer hesitated and agreed. He divided the 100 celestial fox soldiers into two halves, 50 on each side. The rules of the competition were also changed slightly. The winner would be whoever could control the 50 celestial fox soldiers in the shortest time. 50 people? Yinsheng and Yushang glanced at the 50 celestial fox soldiers assigned to each side. The incense was lit. Yinsheng and Yushang each began to perform the corpse puppet spell. Both of them began to chant. Unlike the previous celestial fox anuses, Yinsheng and Yushang were much more proficient in the corpse puppet spell. In just a few breaths, Yinsheng had already subdued a celestial fox soldier. On the other side, Yushang was not slow either. Her blue-green eyes seemed to have a magical power. Any celestial fox soldier who met her eyes would lose their souls and fall under her control. The celestial fox soldiers who had been subdued walked to Yinsheng and Yushang's sides like puppets. It's clearly not their first time using the corpse puppet spell. Hu Linglong had also noticed something was amiss. She would never believe that the B** starred in Yushang from Yudu had never learned the corpse puppet spell before. It's not the first time some of them are using it either. How dare they criticize others? Lu Yinchuang mocked them without holding back. Hu Linglong's face alternated between red and white. It was as ugly as it could get. So fast. Yushang continued to perform the corpse puppet spell while paying attention to Yinshang's situation. What surprised her was that the celestial fox bastard who had appeared out of nowhere was actually as fast as her when using the corpse puppet spell. The number of celestial fox soldiers controlled by both sides was almost the same. This was the first time in many years that Yushang had met someone who was on par with her in using the corpse puppet spell. However, if the other party thought that they could beat her just like that, they were gravely mistaken. A smile spread across Yushang's plump lips. She suddenly stopped chanting. There was a flash of light on her body, and something floated on her fair, jade-like skin. Having learned her lesson from Hu Linglong, Yinsheng had always been wary of Yushang. When she saw the sudden change in Yushang's body, she could not help but stop chanting as well. Eye-like pupils appeared eerily on Yushang's body and face. The pupils were enchanting and emitted a faint blue light. Wherever the blue light went, the celestial fox soldiers who were still conscious quickly became dazed. Even some of the celestial fox soldiers on Yinsheng's side walked toward Yushang. Celestial Fox's inheritance, spectral eyes. Third Elder could not help but cry out when he saw the eerie eyes that appeared on Yushang's body. Spectral eyes was a long-lost ultimate technique of the Yudo lineage. It could strengthen the effects of the corpse puppet spell and allow more celestial fox soldiers to be controlled by Yushang. Even the few celestial fox soldiers who were under Yinsheng's control were controlled by Yushang's spectral eyes. They did not expect Yushang to be proficient in spectral eyes. It seemed that Yushang's spectral eyes had something to do with her being able to break through to six-tailed when she was still five-tailed. No wonder that woman provoked Yinsheng just now. Lu Yunchuang, who was watching the battle from the sidelines, could not help but worry. As soon as spectral eyes were used, the celestial fox soldiers on Yinsheng's side walked toward Yushang as if they were being pulled by something. It was obvious that they had been controlled by the eerie spectral eyes. If this continued, Yunsheng might lose. A smug smile appeared on Yushang's lips. Showing off in front of an expert, Yushang of Yudu, you asked for it. Yunsheng's eyes grew brighter and brighter. A golden light flashed through them like lightning. Chapter 1232. Yushang, you asked for it. Yunsheng had wanted to pass the theory test casually, but she did not expect Yushang to provoke her again and again. Yunsheng had never been an easy person to get along with. The celestial fox soldiers, many of whom were on Yunsheng's side, were being forcefully controlled by Yushang's spectral eye. Yunsheng's black pupils suddenly turned golden. The moment her pupils turned golden, the wind and clouds in the sky suddenly changed. Bzzz, everyone heard a strange sound coming from above their heads. What is that? A giant golden pupil, which was tightly shut, hung high in the sky like a scorching sun. The giant pupil opened abruptly, and the golden light emitted from the golden pupil shocked everyone in the celestial fox shrine. Oh no! Even Green felt dizzy at that moment. He hurriedly activated his magical defense. The spectators who reacted faster also hurriedly released their magical defense and battle energy walls in an attempt to resist the golden light emitted by the strange pupil. The celestial fox soldiers, who were already under the control of the spectral eye, felt dizzy when they came in contact with the golden light. They stopped walking toward Yushang and walked toward Yunsheng. What? Yushang also felt dizzy. The spectral eye on her body was stinging under the golden light of the golden pupil. Needless to say, it was difficult to control the celestial fox soldiers with a spectral eye. The time it takes for an incense stick to burn is up. The voice of the third elder woke the crowd up instantly. The giant golden pupil in the sky also disappeared. On the field, Yunsheng and Yushang stood facing each other. Both of them did not look good. What kind of sorcery did you use? Yushang did not care about the competition anymore. Her face was red with anger as she stared at Yunsheng. Celestial Fox's inheritance, golden puppet eyes, Lung Hao said coldly. Impossible. I've never heard of such a celestial fox inheritance in the world, said Yushang in disbelief. Not to mention Yushang, even Third Elder and Hu Qinxiu, who was secretly observing the competition, had never seen such a celestial fox inheritance. Even if I haven't seen it before, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in this world. This is an inheritance that I comprehended myself. Yunsheng's golden puppet, I was comprehended by her by combining it with the Yin clan's Shinong Eye. It could be said that other than her, no one else in the 8 Desolates continent could use the golden puppet eyes. Self-created. She created her own celestial fox inheritance? Hearing that Yunsheng's celestial fox inheritance was created by herself, the third elder couldn't help but be shocked. Very few people were able to create their own celestial fox inheritance. The power of the golden puppet eyes just now was indeed not to be underestimated. If this was true, then this celestial fox mixed blood's talent was much higher than Yushang and Hu Linglong's. The people from Songdu and Fengdu were also shocked. If Yunsheng really used the celestial fox inheritance, including the celestial fox claw and the fox's traceless shadow, she would have at least 3 celestial fox inheritances. This woman had not revealed anything earlier. Wasn't she a little too sinister? Third Elder, the two of them have violated the rules of the theory test by using the celestial fox inheritance. They should be disqualified. Hu Linglong seized the opportunity to confirm that Yunsheng and Yushang had violated the rules. The theory test is not the combat test. You can't use the celestial fox inheritance, said Third Elder. Yunsheng and Yushang's expressions changed slightly. However, the two of you are indeed better than the others in the application of the corpse puppet technique. Third Elder had already received the clan leader's instructions. He knew that these two women were very likely to be the most promising candidates for the celestial fox saintess in the future. At this time, if one of them violated the rules and both of them were disqualified, how would he explain it to the clan leader and the elders' council? Therefore, After careful consideration, I have decided to make an exception and let the two of you enter the next round of the combat test. However, the two of you will have to be punished accordingly. In the third round of the combat test, the two of you will be the last to depart after the other Sanus candidates. Third Elder made a compromise. As a result, Hu Linglong, who was originally third place at most, suddenly jumped to first place in the theory test. Yun Sheng and Yu Shang, who were supposed to have the best results, ended up at the bottom because of the golden puppet eyes and spectral eyes. Some people were very satisfied with this result, while others were very angry. After the theory test, the number of people in the Celestial Fox Sanus selection ceremony was reduced from 20 to 16. The remaining 16 people would participate in the last round of the combat test in 3 days. Let's wait and see in the combat test. Yu Shang glared hatefully at Yun Shang. If it wasn't for Yun Shang, she would definitely be first in the theory test. Hu Linglong had profited from her misfortune. Just as she was about to show off, she suddenly saw Green in the crowd. Green, why are you here? Are you here to watch me participate in the selection ceremony? Seeing her sweetheart, Hu Linglong smiled and rushed towards Green. However, Green seemed to not see her at all. His gaze passed through the crowd. Hu Linglong's cry attracted the attention of Yun Sheng and Yu Shang. Only then did the two of them notice that there was an extraordinary young man standing in the crowd. It's him, the descendant of the Bahuang tribe. Yun Sheng still remembered Green, but her gaze quickly fell on the woman next to Green. With just one glance, Yun Sheng realized that this woman was very similar to her mother, Hu Jiusheng, and also to Hu Sheng. Yun Sheng hesitated for a moment. Coincidentally, Lu Yunchuang walked over from the side. Only then did she dismiss the idea of chatting with the woman. Yu Shang also saw Green in the crowd. At the same time, she clearly heard Hu Linglong's affectionate tone. What was this man's background? Yu Shang's beautiful eyes darted around. A scheming glint flashed across her blue-green eyes. She brushed her hair and walked gracefully to stand in front of Green. This is the young chief of the Nine Luan tribe. Nice to meet you. With that, she winked at Green. Whether it was Hu Linglong or Yu Shang, Green did not notice their attentions. He looked a little absent-minded. His gaze was fixed on the masked woman, not far away. So familiar. This feeling. Green felt his heartbeat quicken involuntarily. Why were those eyes so similar to the eyes of the person he yearned for day and night? Was it her? Why was she in the Bahuang continent? And why was she participating in the selection of Celestial Fox's Saintus? Big Brother Green, are you even listening to me? Hu Linglong was even more annoyed when she saw Green ignoring her and Yu Shang fawning over him. It was then that she saw the woman next to Green. Big Brother Green, why are you with the chief's wife? Hu Linglong yelled. Chapter 1233. The Chief's Wife? Hearing Hu Linglong's roar, those who were not paying attention all looked at Hu Rulin. Although Hu Rulin was the chief's wife, she lived in seclusion, so not many people knew her true face. Because of Hu Sheng, Hu Linglong had always been hostile to Hu Rulin. Why would the clan leader's wife be walking together with a young man? For a moment, everyone began to discuss. Hu Linglong, what nonsense are you talking about? This madam is here to find her daughter, Lu scolded. This time, he had come to Hu's city in disguise. Now that Hu Linglong had made such a ruckus, everyone would know his identity. This woman was still so annoying. Find her daughter? Brother Lu, isn't her daughter that useless Hu Sheng? That useless person who disgraced the Celestial Fox tribe and is now a plaything of the human race. Hu Linglong looked at Hu Rulin's pretty face with disgust. Hu Sheng looked very similar to Hu Rulin. Relying on this face that men flocked to, she pretended to be delicate and pitiful all day long. Don't talk about Sheng or like that. Sheng is not useless. Hu Rulin listened to Hu Linglong's words. Every word was like a knife, stabbing her all over. Her daughter's whereabouts were unknown, but Hu Linglong still humiliated her like this. Earlier, someone said that her daughter's disappearance was related to Hu Linglong. Even a clay figurine had a temper. Hu Rulin was angry and started a fight with Hu Linglong. Hu Linglong did not care about Hu Rulin at all. Even if she was the chief's wife, she was already the chief's wife who was no longer favored. The chief, Hu Chinchio, did not even bother to look at her. "Go away, you old woman who no one wants." Hu Linglong lifted her fingertips and pulled Hu Ruolin's hair, grabbing her face. "Stop." Although he did not know how Hu Ruolin suddenly became the chief's wife, he was the one who brought her here. Lu would not allow Hu Linglong to hurt her. He was about to stop Hu Linglong, but at this moment, he heard a paw sound. The slap was ruthless and accurate as it flew towards Hu Linglong's face. This slap came so suddenly that Hu Linglong only felt a dull pain on her face. She was forcefully thrown back and fell to the ground in a sorry state. Hu Ruolin, who had a terrified look on her face, had already been snatched away by someone to protect her behind him. Sheng is not a good-for-nothing. Hu Ruolin's face was full of tears as she muttered unwillingly, "Madam, everything is fine now." The soft female voice woke Hu Ruolin up from her dream. She looked up and saw the masked celestial fox Saintess candidate looking at her. Even though her face was covered, her eyes were filled with worry and heartache. Hu Ruolin had only seen such a look on her daughter's face. The woman in front of her, her figure and silhouette, was so similar to the daughter she yearned for day and night. You are Sheng." Hu Ruolin could not help but pull off Yun Sheng's veil with trembling hands. Yun Sheng did not expect Hu Ruolin to suddenly make such a move. She wanted to stop her, but it was too late. When the veil fell, a beautiful face was exposed in front of everyone. Anyone who had seen the former celestial fox Saintess, Hu Sheng, could not help but gasp at this moment. Hu Ruolin's eyes were filled with infatuation. Sheng it was really her Sheng Green was dumbfounded. He stared at Yun Sheng in a daze. This couldn't be a dream, right? It was her. Compared to a few years ago, the beauty in front of him, whether it was her temperament or cultivation, was much better than before. She was Yun Sheng, the Yun Sheng who made him lose his soul the moment he saw her. "It's you, Hu Sheng. How dare you come back?" Hu Linglong was slapped by Yun Sheng. Her hair was messy and her cheeks were swollen. However, all of this could not compare to the shock she felt when she saw Hu Sheng. Why was this woman haunting her? Why did she return to the 8 Wastelands continent? It's the Saintess. Isn't this the Saintess who has been missing for a long time? Everyone from the Celestial Fox tribal country, including the 3rd Elder, was shocked. "No, you're not Hu Sheng. Where did this imposter come from?" Hu Linglong looked again and realized that this woman was not Hu Sheng. Although she looked exactly the same as Hu Sheng, her eyes and actions, as well as her cultivation, were definitely not that trash. "She's Sheng Hu Linglong, don't slander her." Hu Ruolin refused to let go of Yun Sheng when she saw her. Her daughter had been missing for so long. She was finally back. "Madam, listen to my explanation first." Yun Sheng saw Hu Linglong bullying Hu Ruolin and knew that Hu Ruolin was Hu Sheng's poor mother. She wanted to find Hu Ruolin and tell her about Hu Sheng's ashes after the theory examination. Who knew that Hu Linglong would be so hateful as to humiliate and beat Hu Ruolin in public? She could not stand it anymore. "Sheng, mother knew it was you. Mother knew that you would come to the Celestial Fox Shrine with a premonition. You're really here. Let mother see if you're hurt or suffered. Mother is useless and made you suffer so much." Hu Ruolin did not hear Yun Sheng's words at all. She touched Yun Sheng's face and held her hand. "What's going on? How did this Celestial Fox bastard become a Saintess?" The most shocked people were the Saintess candidates from Fengdu and Songdu, especially Qin Yu and Qin Qi. They were still mocking Yun Sheng's background. Who knew that she was actually the Patriarch's daughter? 3rd Elder was also embarrassed. If Yun Sheng was really the previous Celestial Fox Saintess who went missing, then this Celestial Fox selection ceremony would become a joke. Hu Do had prepared for the Celestial Fox selection ceremony for so long and had even publicized it to the public. The Patriarch had even invited the old Patriarch of the 9 Wan tribe to watch. All of this was wasted effort. Also, how should the Saintess candidates who had traveled thousands of miles from other capital cities, as well as the women who had been assassinated on their way here, be dealt with? She can't be Hu Sheng. She's a mixed blood. Have you forgotten that Hu Sheng is a purebred? This woman is a mixed blood. She must have used some method to deliberately disguise herself as Hu Sheng. She has ulterior motives. She must be arrested. Hu Linglong was also panicking in her heart. No matter who she was, she would never allow her to become the celestial fox saintess again. This matter needs to be investigated thoroughly. Otherwise, it will be too unfair to the other saintess candidates. Yushang was also dissatisfied. If it wasn't for this woman, Yushang was completely confident that she would become the celestial fox saintess this time. All of this was disrupted by this celestial fox bastard who appeared out of nowhere. That's right. Revoke her status as a saintess candidate and arrest her. The other saintess candidates also echoed. Chapter 1234. All the spearheads were pointed at Yun Sheng. You're not allowed to bully Sheng Hu Ruolin was brave for the first time in her life in the face of these accusations and difficulties. She opened her arms and protected Yun Sheng like a mother eagle protecting her young. However, her shoulders were trembling uncontrollably. Yun Sheng was a little touched, but at the same time, she was a little emotional. Hu Ruolin and her mother looked exactly the same, but their personalities and strength were worlds apart. If her mother was here, she would probably cast a magic spell on anyone who was dissatisfied. Yun Sheng did not cower in the face of all the questioning gazes. She patted Hu Ruolin's shoulder as if she was coaxing a child. Madam, I will deal with this. Yun Sheng took a step forward and swept her gaze over everyone present at a leisurely pace. So what if I'm Hu Sheng? So what if I'm not Hu Sheng? Don't you want a saintess? Do you really think that everyone wants to be the saintess of the Celestial Fox tribe? Yun Sheng sneered. How dare you look down on the Celestial Fox saintess? The third elder was provoked by Yun Sheng's mocking gaze. He let out a furious roar, and 100 or so heavenly fox soldiers immediately surrounded him. Hold on. Green took a step forward and blocked the path of the Celestial Fox soldiers. Brother Green, what are you doing? That woman is not a good person. I remember now. I met this woman in the Dutian blood realm. She had pretended to be Hu Sheng. She must be a spy from a boundless world. Hu Linglong was furious when she saw Green protecting that mixed blood bastard. Shut up. If you dare to speak ill of her again, don't blame me for being rude. Green's gaze was cold. What's wrong with the young clan leader? Why do you want to get involved in the Celestial Fox tribe? Yaoji and Hui were puzzled by the young chieftain's sudden change. Before he left, Green had said firmly that he would not marry any celestial fox saintess, even if all the women in the world were dead. That's not right. Look at the young patriarch's face. Why is it so red? Also, look at the way he looks at that lady. Hui saw some clues. Apart from having a good relationship with D Clan's young patriarch Z, the young patriarch had never been too close to anyone else. But today, he clearly looked like he was experiencing his first awakening of love. Greyfeather then looked at Yun Sheng. It was undeniable that this celestial fox mixed-blood woman was very beautiful, so beautiful that it was suffocating. However, the young patriarch was not a superficial person who would only look at a person's appearance. What exactly was going on? You again? I'll handle my own matters. Yun Sheng also had a puzzled look on her face. She recognized Green, but if she didn't remember wrongly, she even fought with him last time. Why did he suddenly jump out? Yun Sheng, don't be afraid. I'm here, Green said gently. What the hell is going on? A stern rebuke was heard, and the crowd parted. The Celestial Fox tribe's patriarch, Hu Qinxiu, and the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch walked over together. Hu Qinxiu had given instructions to the third elder earlier, and thought that the theory test had been successfully completed. Who knew that the third elder suddenly reported that the patriarch's wife, the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch, and a woman who looked exactly like the previous saintess had all appeared in the Celestial Fox temple together. Hu Qinxiu knew that something was wrong, so he invited the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch and rushed to the Celestial Fox temple together. Hu Qinxiu saw Hu Ruolin and Yun Sheng at a glance. When he saw Yun Sheng, Hu Qinxiu was also shocked. This woman was too similar to his daughter, Hu Sheng. Knowing that the daughter was no match for the father, Hu Qinxiu, that kind of old fox, could tell at a glance that this woman wasn't Hu Sheng. Hu Xing didn't have such sharp eyes and didn't have such a cold aura. The Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch's gaze fell on his grandson, Green. But when he looked at his grandson, he didn't seem to see his grandfather at all. At this moment, he was gazing at a celestial fox woman affectionately. The Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch almost burst into tears. What was this situation? Wasn't this brat always clamoring that he wasn't willing to marry into the celestial fox tribe? Looking at his current appearance, he definitely liked the other party. The Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch looked at Yun Sheng again, and when he saw her appearance, he nodded his head in satisfaction. After looking a few more times, the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch suddenly realized that this woman was the prospective granddaughter-in-law that he had taken a fancy to in the inn earlier. Who exactly are you? Hu Qinxiu questioned Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng was also sizing up Hu Qinxiu. This celestial fox tribe's patriarch looked very young, and his appearance was very scholarly, but his pair of cunning eyes betrayed him. This man was the celestial fox people that Hu Sheng said was cold and heartless. For so many years, he didn't care about the life and death of Hu Sheng and his daughter. Qinxiu, she is our Sheng-er. When Hu Rulin saw Hu Qinxiu, she was still a bit timid, but she was afraid that her husband would scare her daughter again, so she hurriedly walked forward. Nonsense, she's not Sheng. Hu Qinxiu was just about to reprimand her. Hey, Qinxiu, it doesn't matter whether this girl is your daughter or not. What's important is whether she is competent for the position of celestial fox saintess. The Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch winked at Hu Qinxiu. Hu Qinxiu saw that the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch's attitude was ambiguous, and then he used his finger to secretly point at Green and Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng and Green, one was delicate and cold, the other was tall and elegant. When they stood together, they were like a pair of jade. What surprised Hu Qinxiu the most was that from the moment he appeared until now, the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch didn't even look in his direction. That pair of eyes was incomparably gentle as they gazed at Yun Sheng. He was also an experienced person. How could he not see that the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch had feelings for Yun Sheng? Hu Qinxiu's heart jumped, and he immediately understood the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch's meaning. It was said that a forcefully picked melon was not sweet. Previously, Hu Qinxiu was worried that the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch wouldn't fancy Hu Linglong, so he held this celestial fox saintess election ceremony. Whether Yun Sheng was Hu Sheng or not wasn't the most important thing. The important thing was whether the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch was willing to marry the celestial fox saintess. Looking at the situation, as long as Yun Sheng was the celestial fox saintess, the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch would definitely agree to the marriage between the two tribes. But if it was someone else, the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch might not be moved. Using the celestial fox saintess to become in-laws with the Nine Yuan tribe. Wasn't this the result that Hu Qinxiu had always wanted? Thinking of this, Hu Qinxiu and the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch made a, I also know expression to each other. Old patriarch is right. The celestial fox saintess is for the strong. This is also the main purpose of this celestial fox saintess selection. Since the theory test is already over, everything will go according to the normal process. 3 days later, the final round of the celestial fox saintess selection, the combat test, will be held. At that time, the one who obtains the first place in the combat test will become the celestial fox saintess. Hu Qinxiu decided to confirm Yun Sheng's identity afterwards. Chapter 1235. Once the celestial fox people leader Hu Qinxiu spoke, the other candidates, including Hu Linglong, could not say anything. The Nine Phoenix old patriarch had a smile on his face as he beckoned his grandson over. Lu glanced at Yun Sheng and walked away unwillingly. Rulin, follow me back to the palace. Hu Qinxiu walked up and wanted to take Hu Rulin away. I'm not going back. I'll go wherever Shenger goes. Hu Rulin left the palace this time to find her daughter. Up to you. I don't believe you can stay outside for long. Hu Qinxiu was exasperated. This woman dared to go against his wishes. It was only a few days, and she had already rebelled. She did not think that she was powerless and had no money. She would come back obediently in a few days. Hu Qianxiu left with the third elder and the rest. Yin Sheng rubbed her forehead and looked at Hu Rulin's face that looked like her mother. She was thinking about how to tell Hu Rulin about Hu Sheng's death. After learning that Hu Rulin had left the palace and had nowhere to stay for the time being, Yin Sheng could only inform Green and bring Hu Rulin to the inn where she was staying. "Madam, I'm not Hu Sheng. My name is Yun Sheng, and I'm from the Boundless Land. Hu Sheng is no longer here. Before she died, she told me to bring her ashes back to the Celestial Fox tribe." Yun Sheng hesitated for a while and decided to tell the truth. She took out the box containing Hu Sheng's ashes. Hu Rulin did not say a word and did not take the box of ashes. "Madam, please restrain your grief." Yun Sheng sighed. She knew that Hu Rulin and Hu Sheng depended on each other for many years. It would be hard for her to accept her daughter's death. "No, that's not true. You're Sheng-er. You look exactly the same as Sheng-er." "Sheng-er, why are you joking with me?" Hu Rulin smiled, her beautiful face full of disbelief. She lovingly caressed Yun Sheng's face, her eyes filled with stubbornness. "Madam Rulin, I look very similar to Hu Sheng. Also, you and my mother were both born in the Dutian Blood Beast sector. I don't know if you still remember, but the two of you look exactly the same." Yin Sheng couldn't bear to see Hu Rulin's expression and comforted her. "No, Sheng-er won't die. You're Sheng-er. Sheng-er, don't worry. From now on, Mother will never leave you again. Wherever you go, Mother will follow. If you want to go to the boundless world, I will go with you." Hu Rulin despaired and held onto Yun Sheng's hand, refusing to let go. Tears filled her eyes. Yun Sheng knew that Hu Rulin wouldn't be able to accept this reality in such a short period of time. She could only use acupuncture to make Hu Rulin fall asleep temporarily. "I won't be able to hand over the bone ashes for a while. However, the trouble I caused this time is really big. I don't know when Hu Rulin will accept the news of Hu Sheng's death. This Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony must be completed successfully. Only then can I obtain the antidote to save Ying and baby sheep." Yin Sheng pondered. There is only one round left in the Saintess selection ceremony. Among the remaining 10 people, only Yu Shang and Hu Linglong could pose a threat, especially Hu Linglong. She had been taught a lesson by her a few times. She would definitely do something in this combat examination. She was the daughter of the chief's younger brother. She must have some influence in the Celestial Fox tribe. Also, the power that the Jade Garment of Yudu had displayed this time should only be a small part of her power. She would be Yunxing's greatest enemy in this Saintess selection ceremony. There was one more thing that Yun Sheng was worried about. She still didn't know the specific content of the combat examination. However, no matter what, she had to prepare well. Yun Sheng decided to cultivate the corpse puppet technique and other Celestial Fox inheritances in the last few days. In fact, Yin Sheng wasn't the only one who was full of expectations for the Celestial Fox tribe's Saintess selection ceremony this time. After the old chief of the Nine Phoenix tribe met up with the young chief, Green, the old chief kept looking at his grandson with a silly smile. Green felt goosebumps all over his body. Hee kid, didn't you say that you wouldn't come to Hu City? Why did you come here without a word?" The old chief was tired of living in the Celestial Fox Palace these few days. He might as well move to an inn. "Isn't it because you randomly matched me?" Green was annoyed. If it wasn't for his grandfather being a busybody, he wouldn't have caused so much trouble. He originally planned to leave after watching the competition quietly. Who knew that such a big mistake would happen midway, and even let Hu Linglong know that he was also in Hu City. After his identity was exposed, those Celestial Fox Saintess candidates all came to fawn on him. These few days, the inn's doorstep was almost broken by so many people. Green was so annoyed that he simply refused to see them and rejected them all outside the door. "Kid, do you really think that your grandfather is wrong? All right then, the marriage between the Nine Phoenix tribe and the Celestial Fox tribe will be canceled. So you don't like that girl called Yun Sheng?" The old chief of the Nine Phoenix tribe waved his hand and shouted that he wanted to cancel the marriage. "Grandfather, What nonsense are you talking about? I... I didn't. Green stuttered. In short, do you like Yunsheng or not? The old chief had already found out that this wasn't the first time his grandson and Yunsheng had met. The reason why he was so against the marriage with the Celestial Fox tribe was not because he didn't like women, but because he already had someone in his heart. I like her very much. Green couldn't stand his grandfather's pestering and simply confessed. Then it's settled. This old man wants this granddaughter-in-law. I'll choose an auspicious day with Hu Qinxiu and let the two of you get married. The old chief of the Nine Phoenix tribe laughed happily, as if he would be able to hold his great-grandson on this day next year. Grandfather, don't mess around. Yinsheng doesn't like me. She seems to have someone in her heart. Green was distressed. Yinsheng's tone, when talking to him earlier, was very distant. However, this was not surprising. Speaking of which, he and Yunsheng had only met twice. The time they spent together was not even a full day. In this case, how could he let the girl like him? Green thought that Yunsheng was not the kind of woman who would be manipulated. If he provoked her, she would definitely fight to the death. So what if she has someone in her heart? She could participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess election, which means she is still chaste. Let me tell you, women are easy to deceive. My grandson is tall and mighty, and is the young chief of the Nine Phoenix tribe. Looking at the entire 8 Desolates continent, no one can compare to you. After this Celestial Fox Saintess election ceremony is over, I'll think of a way to make the raw rice become cooked rice. At that time, this granddaughter-in-law can't run away. The old chief of the Nine Phoenix tribe said and laughed. Green stood at the side, looking at his grandfather's intoxicated face helplessly. Chapter 1236. Seeing his grandfather's confident look, Green secretly shook his head. Grandpa must have been deceived by Yunsheng's appearance. Yunsheng was not easy to deal with. Green couldn't imagine what it would be like to have sex with Yunsheng. That woman would probably not agree to the marriage. It was more likely that Yunsheng had sharpened her knife and crippled him. However, even though she was such a ferocious woman, Lu was still very attracted to her. In Lu's opinion, the selection of the Heavenly Fox Saintess had undoubtedly brought him and Yunsheng one step closer. What was the relationship between Yunsheng and Hu Rulin? But judging from Yunsheng's appearance, it seemed that she still valued the other party. Hu Rulin had a good impression of him. If he could fight for more, he might have a chance with Yunsheng. Both grandfather and grandson had their own thoughts. Gray Feather and Yaoji, who were guarding outside the door, had different expressions. I really don't know what the old patriarch was thinking. That woman doesn't deserve to be our young patriarch's wife. Yaoji gritted her teeth. Yaoji, this is not something we should care about. Everyone can see that our young patriarch likes that girl very much. Gray Feather had watched the young patriarch grow up. The young patriarch had lost his parents when he was young. Although the old patriarch loved him in every possible way, the young patriarch had never accepted anyone except his good friend Ultraviolet, especially women. This was the first time that Gray Feather saw Green treat a woman differently. I will never agree with that woman. She may not become the Celestial Fox Saintess. Yaoji thought to herself, no matter what, she would not let that woman become the young patriarch's wife. Moreover, Yaoji had already seen that she was not the only one who didn't want Yunsheng to become the Celestial Fox Saintess. In the outskirts of Hu City, there was a strange building shaped like a lighthouse. It was like a big sword piercing into the dark night sky. Around it, the trees were withered. Only a few zombie owls landed on the trees, motionless. The interior and exterior of the building were gloomy. There were no lights in the building. Only a few magic arrays that looked like hellfire emitted dim light. Inside the building, there was not a single soldier guarding it, but within a radius of 10 miles, there was no sign of human habitation. There was a long staircase, winding like a mountain road, all the way to the top of the tower. This lighthouse-like building was quite famous in the Celestial Fox tribal nation and even in the Bakura Orcs. This tower was called the Witch Doctor Tower. It was the residence of the great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe. Celestial Fox was the only one living in the tower. At the top of the witch doctor tower, there was a huge magical array. An old woman in a loose long robe was casting an incantation. As she chanted, the powerful wizard power was like a bat, occupying a coffin made of bronze. The coffin was no different from an ordinary coffin. Its surface was rusty, and there were a lot of ancient celestial fox incantations carved on it. The coffin floated in the air above the magical array, emitting a dim light. The old woman was very old. Her skin was loose, and her eyes were muddy yellow. But such an old woman was the most respected person in the celestial fox tribal nation. Even the chief of the celestial fox people, Huchinchio, had to be courteous when he saw her. This was the great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribal nation. In the celestial fox tribal nation, her status was comparable to the chief of the celestial fox tribal nation, Huchinchio, and the council of elders. The great witch doctor was proficient in all kinds of witchcraft. Her medical skills were also very good. The coffin was open, and there was a human mummy lying inside. The mummy was wrapped in a lot of bandages. From the shape of the body, the mummy should have been a woman. The great witch doctor was chanting an incantation, and a mysterious wizard power fell on the mummy. After 6 or 7 hours, the mummy moved. The bandages fell off, and the ancient mummy revealed her true face. The first thing that appeared was a pair of blue-green eyes and snow-white skin that was even more delicate than white jade. After the bandages were removed, the mummy was none other than the jade of Yudu Shang, who had shown in the celestial fox saintess election ceremony. "My lord, your injuries are no longer a problem." The great witch doctor was of noble status. Ordinary people had to bow to her when they saw her, but when she saw the jade of Yudu Shang, she bowed. Yushang put on her clothes and waved her hand, indicating that the great witch doctor need not be so polite. Yushang had returned to the witch doctor tower after the written exam. Yin Sheng's golden eye scorpion was very powerful. The golden light from the golden eye had injured Yushang's spectral eye to a certain extent. Once she returned to the witch doctor tower, blisters began to appear on her skin, as if she had been scalded. This made her look very disgusting. Fortunately, the great witch doctor treated her in time. Now, there were no more wounds on her body. "Can you tell what technique the opponent used?" Yushang asked the celestial fox great witch doctor. "My lord, I don't know what kind of inheritance it is, but the opponent's technique is very special. If I'm not wrong, it must be a special martial art combined with the celestial fox's inheritance. She also seems to have a close relationship with the previous saintess, Hushang." The great witch doctor treated Yu Shang's wounds with wizard power. Yu Shang was the great witch doctor's master. None of the celestial fox people's patriarch, Huchinchio, and the other elders knew this. Hearing the great witch doctor mention the previous saintess, Hushang, Yu Shang's eyes were no longer as seductive as they were during the day. Her blue and green eyes were filled with coldness. "She's not the saintess of celestial fox. I'm the real celestial fox saintess," Yushang said angrily when the great witch doctor mentioned the previous celestial fox saintess, Hushang. That trash, the reputation of the celestial fox saintess had been ruined by her. "My lord, please calm down. You are the real celestial fox saintess. You were and will be. You are the most outstanding celestial fox saintess in the history of the celestial fox tribe," the great witch doctor said fearfully. "If it wasn't for that bitch Yin, I wouldn't have become what I am today. I had to rely on this Yudu woman to survive." Yu Shang, or rather, the saintess of the celestial fox tribe nation, was from the same generation as Hu Yin. Venomous light shot out from Hu Yushang's eyes. Most of the celestial fox people had heard of Hu Yin, but not many knew about Hu Yushang. Hu Yushang and Hu Yin were sisters of the same father, but different mothers. They had grown up together. However, because Hu Yin was too outstanding, her limelight overshadowed Hu Yushang's. Hu Yushang was a 5-tailed celestial fox, while Hu Yin was a 6-tailed celestial fox. Hu Yin became the patriarch of the celestial fox people, while Hu Yushang could only be the celestial fox saintess. Even Patriarch Xiao of the Qilin tribe, whom Hu Yushang had a crush on, fell in love with Hu Yin after meeting her. Hu Yushang hated Hu Yin to the core, but she was very cunning. On the surface, Hu Yushang and Hu Yin seemed to be on good terms with each other, as if they were sisters. However, in reality, Hu Yushang had always harbored hatred in her heart and looked for opportunities to frame Hu Yin. Chapter 12:37. The Bakra orcs and the humans were engaged in a battle of life and death. As the saintess of the Celestial Fox tribe, Hu Yushang had a disagreement with the tribe leader of the Celestial Fox tribe, Hu Yin. Finally, she got her chance and used the conflict between the Bakra orcs and the Bakra orcs to cause Hu Yin and Yishio to fall out. In the end, Hu Yin died in the Duqian blood world while trying to transfer the bloodline of the Celestial Fox. Hu Yushang was also severely injured, but with the help of the Celestial Fox, witch doctor who had a crush on her, she escaped to the 8 Desolates continent. She thought that after Hu Yin died, the Celestial Fox tribe and Yishio would fall into her hands. Little did she know that things were completely different from what she had imagined. Yishio died in the blood world of the 8 Desolates. The idiots of the Celestial Fox tribe only remembered Hu Yin. They even built a Celestial Fox shrine to commemorate Hu Yin. Hu Yushang, on the other hand, was completely ignored. Not only that, the Black Qilin tribe who had lost their tribe leader, Yishio, also vented their anger on the Celestial Fox tribe. They led their troops to attack the Celestial Fox tribe, and Hu Yushang was severely injured in that battle. On her deathbed, Hu Yushang gave a strand of her soul to the witch doctor and asked him to find a suitable body for her. When her soul power recovered, she could be reborn. Unfortunately, the witch doctor spent his entire life trying to find a body that was compatible with Hu Yushang's soul. He could only ask future generations of Celestial Fox witch doctors to look for a suitable body for a Celestial Fox woman. Until this generation's great shaman doctor. By chance and coincidence, she actually found the Yuta Jade garment. Not only did Yuta Yushang look similar to the Celestial Fox saintess Hu Yushang, but her bloodline was also very pure. She was a 5-tailed Celestial Fox. The witch doctor caught Yuta Yushang and shrunk her soul into a shaman formation. He then placed Hu Yushang's strand of soul into Yuta Yushang's body. After more than 20 years, Hu Yushang's soul and Yuta Yushang's body finally merged perfectly. At this time, the witch doctor proposed a new Celestial Fox saintess, and Yuta Yushang appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Yuta Yushang's 5 tails and Celestial Fox saintess, she became 6-tailed from 5-tailed Celestial Fox saintess. If everything went according to the Grand Shaman and Yushang's plan, Yushang would naturally become the saintess of the Heavenly Foxes. But then she was which woman Yushang? In Yushang and Fox added any one Fox in S and Foxes and Fox saintess. Fox and Yushang's saintess Hu Yin. Yushang, who? Yushang thought. Her face under the veil was very similar to Chang Hu Yin, the Celestial Fox people of the past. That woman is a hindrance. We must get rid of her during the combat test. Yuta Yushang had never been at a disadvantage before. Yunsheng was the first person to make her suffer. She would never let Yunsheng off the hook so easily. Don't worry, Master. I've already set up an ambush there during the combat test. They will all listen to your orders. They will definitely kill her, the witch doctor said. The outside world only knew that the Celestial Fox, witch doctor, supported the previous Celestial Fox saintess, Hu Sheng. What they didn't know was that the witch doctor didn't support Hu Sheng. On the contrary, she only saw Hu Sheng as a dispensable existence. She had been waiting for Yuta Yushang's return all these years. She thought that with Hu Sheng's disappearance, it was only natural that Yuta Yushang would come back to inherit the title of Celestial Fox Saintess. Who would have thought that Yun Sheng's appearance would disrupt her and Yuta Yushang's plan? Also, did you find out what I asked you to investigate? Yuta Yushang picked up a mirror and looked at her charming face. There's no news about the Black Qilin King for now. However, I heard that the Black Qilin tribe has found the Qilin King's Sarira left behind, the witch doctor said. In Yuta Yushang's past life, The Black Qilin King Yeshio was her favorite. Unfortunately, Yeshio only loved Hu Shang's older sister, Hu Yan. I can sense Yeshio's aura. I'm sure he's still alive. Yudu Yushang chose to revive at this time, mainly because she sensed the Black Qilin King Yeshio's aura. The man who was as handsome and powerful as the King of the Night was indeed alive. But Master, if Yeshio really does come back to life, the first thing he'll do will be... The witch doctor had a top-secret document in his hands. It was left behind by the first witch doctor who had participated in the Great War of Eight Baron. That's right. If a man like Yeshio really revives, the first thing he'll do will be to wash the boundless continent with blood. And this time, I'll stand beside him in Hu Yan's place. Yudu Yushang chuckled. For most people, these 3 days were very torturous. After Hu Rulin learned about her daughter Hu Shang's death, she became muddle-headed and spouted nonsense every day. She would either fall asleep or pester Yinshang. She did this all the way until the day of the Heavenly Fox Martial Test. Worried about Hu Rulin's safety, Yinshang thought about it and entrusted Hu Rulin to Green for the time being. She's wary of everyone, but she seems to treat you quite well. Please take care of her while I'm participating in the combat trial. Yinshang already knew Green's identity. She'd also heard from Lu Yunshuang that the Nine Luan tribe and the Celestial Fox tribe had a marriage contract. However, even if she won the Saintess election this time, she would not have anything to do with Green. In Yunshang's heart, there was only one person, Yi Baiming. Green was flattered by Yunshang's trust. Without another word, he took on the task of taking care of Hu Rulin. Unlike the literary trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess, the combat trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess was held in the Celestial Fox Palace. Early in the morning, Yunsheng and Lu Yunshuang arrived at the Celestial Fox Palace together. Yunsheng looked identical to the previous Celestial Fox Saintess. Therefore, as soon as she appeared, the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates from the other capital cities looked at her with revulsion. Other than Lu Yunshuang, only Feng Lian and Hua Yanluo treated her slightly better. However, what surprised Yunsheng was that there were no arenas in the Celestial Fox Palace. It seemed that the combat trial this time was not as simple as an ordinary arena competition. After all the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates had arrived, the leader of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qinxiu, and the old chief and young chief of the Nine Luan tribe also appeared. Saintess candidates, congratulations on passing through the intense competition and entering the final round of the combat trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess election. The content of the combat trial this time has also been confirmed. The search for the Celestial Fox Inheritance Pillar. With that, Hu Qinxiu flicked his sleeves. An illusion appeared in the sky. It was a lush forest with a large number of flying demonic beasts circling above the forest. From deep within the forest, roars of demonic beasts could be heard from time to time. The illusion showed the most chaotic area in the entire 8 Wilderness continent, also known as the 8 Wilderness Mountain Range. Chapter 1238. The 8 Desolates Mountain Range was the longest mountain range in the 8 Desolates mainland. It stretched for tens of thousands of miles, like a giant dragon lying on the mainland. When they saw the illusion, the dozen or so Celestial Fox Saintess candidates all had different expressions on their faces. You should have recognized the place in the illusion. After discussion with the Council of Elders and the Great Witch Doctor, we have decided to hold the combat examination in the 8 Desolates mountain range. Your mission is to find a Celestial Fox's inheritance pillar in the 8 Desolates mountain range. Hu Qianqiu's thunderous gaze swept across everyone present. Celestial Fox's inheritance pillar? Yinsheng was surprised. What was that? As if knowing that Yinsheng did not know, Lu Yunshuang whispered a few words into Yunsheng's ear, and only then did Yunsheng understand. As it turned out, the 8 Desolates mountain range was not only the longest mountain range on the mainland, it was also the first destination that the Bakra orcs arrived at when they first arrived on the mainland. At that time, the Bakra orcs were in tatters, and many of the beasts were injured. As there were many native magical beasts in the mountain range, many Bakra orcs fell there as they fought. When they died, they were unwilling to let their ultimate techniques be lost, so they preserved their inheritances in the form of inheritance pillars. However, as the mountain range was vast and boundless and too much time had passed, those inheritance pillars had not been completely excavated. To this day, there were still countless inheritance pillars scattered in various regions of the Eight Desolates mountain range. Your mission this time is to find the inheritance pillars. Whoever can find the inheritance pillar of the highest grade within a month will be the next celestial fox saintess, Hu Chinchio said in a low voice. I also want to remind you that there are many magical beasts in the Eight Desolates mountain range, and there may even be other beasts who intend to get their hands on the Eight Desolates inheritance. In the coming month, there will be both opportunities and challenges for you. Although the Heavenly Fox tribe was one of the 8 Wastelands beast clans, due to the gradual decline of the Heavenly Fox tribe, other tribes on the mainland that were not part of the 8 Wastelands beast clans had become very dissatisfied with them over the years. There were even orcs who threatened to challenge the Celestial Fox tribe in the Bahuan clan competition a few months later and replace the Celestial Fox tribe's position as the Bakra orcs. Under such circumstances, Hu Chinchio wanted to unearth the strongest Celestial Fox Saintess candidates. If they were no match for the magical beasts and other beasts in the mountain range, it would prove that their strength was only SOSO. However, if they could survive for a month and find the lost Celestial Fox inheritance pillar, their reputation would soar in the Celestial Fox tribal nation. Therefore, even though they knew that the 8 Desolates mountain range was extremely dangerous, the dozen or so Celestial Fox Saintess candidates present were still eager to give it a try. After informing them of the mission of the combat examination, the dozen or so Saintess candidates entered the magic array to the 8 Desolates mountain range under Hu Chinchio's lead. Half a day later, Yun Sheng and a group of Saintess candidates stood at the entrance of the 8 Desolates mountain range. In front of them was a bottomless sea of trees with jagged rocks of strange shapes. Between the sea of trees, the mountain path was fragmented. According to the results of the theory examination, Hu Linglong came in first. She could enter the mountain 2 hours earlier according to the rules. Lu Yunchuang and another Celestial Fox girl, who had the second best results in the theory examination, could enter the mountain 1 hour and half an hour earlier respectively. The remaining 10 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates could only enter the mountain 2 hours later. A month later, I hope to see all of you return successfully, Hu Chinchio said in a low voice. Linglong will not disappoint you, clan leader. Hu Linglong was the first to set off. She was dressed in a dazzling red dress that looked like a flame. She shuttled through the sea of trees and soon disappeared. An hour later, it was Lu Yunchuang's turn to set off. Yun Sheng, this trip into the mountain is extremely dangerous. I want to go in with you. Lu Yunchuang did not set off immediately. Instead, she walked to Yun Sheng's side. She and Yun Sheng had become allies. Regardless of the situation in the 8 Desolates mountain range, if Yun Sheng died, there would be no one to heal her ice fox constitution. Therefore, Lu Yunchuang decided to stay by Yun Sheng's side along the way so that they could look after each other. As for the Celestial Fox inheritance pillar, it would depend on their own abilities when the time came, relying on the support of the human race. Aren't you afraid of embarrassing the purebred Celestial Fox? Qinyu snorted when she saw this. She had been defeated by Lu Yunchuang back then, and she was still brooding over it. Wasn't the lesson last time enough? Lu Yunchuang's face was cold as she waved her slender hand. Qinyu immediately recalled the feeling of her hands being frozen the last time. Now that little bitch Yun Sheng was not in their group, if she was frozen again, no one would be able to save her. Qinyu shut her mouth obediently when she thought of this. Huayan Luo, Qinyu, and Feng Lian only entered the 8 Desolates mountain range together after the first few people had set off. These women did not usually get along well, but they all understood that in a place like the 8 Desolates mountain range, an extra helping hand meant an extra chance of survival. Almost everyone had left. Only Yun Sheng, Lu Yunchuang, Yu Shang, and the other Saintess candidate from Yudu remained. Yu Shang was especially quiet today. She looked at the 8 Desolates mountain range, her beautiful eyes flashing slightly. Yunsheng, we haven't decided who's the better one from our last competition. I will definitely find the best inheritance pillar. Yusheng walked up to Yunsheng, her blue-green eyes glowing like a beast's. Let's go into the mountains. Yunsheng ignored Yusheng's provocation. Every time she got close to Yusheng, she would feel a chill run down her spine. This feeling was an instinctive rejection of unknown danger. Before Yunsheng left Hu's city, she went to Elder Lu again and obtained a month's worth of antidote from him. Elder Lu threatened Yunsheng to do her best to find the Celestial Fox inheritance pillar. He also reminded Yunsheng that the deeper they went into the 8 Desolates mountain range, the higher the chance of finding a higher-level Celestial Fox inheritance pillar. Hu Qinxiu watched the last few people disappear into the forest before leaving. In the 8 Desolates mountain range, a shrill scream rang out. Hu Linglong, what are you doing? A Celestial Fox Saintess candidate retreated in fear. What am I doing? A Celestial Fox mixed blood like you doesn't have the right to enter the 8 Desolates mountain range. I'll send you on your way. A murderous look appeared on Hu Linglong's beautiful face. She kicked out with her long legs, and her body wrapped around the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate's neck as if she had no bones. With a crack, the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate was ground into a pile of minced meat. You overestimate yourself. Do you really think you have the right to find the Celestial Fox inheritance just because you've entered the 8 Desolates mountain range? Hu Linglong looked behind her. After entering the 8 Desolates mountain range, she didn't immediately search for the Celestial Fox inheritance pillar. Instead, she laid an ambush on a path that was necessary to enter the mountain. 2 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates had already died at her hands. Finding the Celestial Fox inheritance pillar required luck. Hu Linglong boasted of her strength, but the more people there were, the lower her chances of winning. Therefore, she planned to find the weaker Celestial Fox Saintess candidates who were alone and kill them in batches. Chapter 1239. You're overestimating yourself. Do you really think you're qualified to find the Celestial Fox's inheritance just because you've entered the 8 Desolate mountain range? Hu Linglong looked ahead. After entering the 8 Desolate mountain range, she did not immediately look for the Celestial Fox's inheritance pillar. Instead, she laid an ambush on a path that was necessary to enter the mountain. 2 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates had already died in her hands. Finding the Celestial Fox's inheritance pillar required luck. Hu Linglong boasted of her strength, but the more candidates there were, the lower her chances of winning. This time, even Green had come to Hu Du. She must let him know that only she was the most suitable wife of the 9 Phoenix Tribe's future patriarch. Hu Linglong planned to find the weaker Celestial Fox Saintess candidates who were alone and killed them in batches. After Hu Linglong and the Hu Du Saintess candidate killed several Celestial Fox Saintess candidates, they lay in ambush on the side. Behind them, footsteps could be heard. Feng Lian, Hua Yin Luo, and Qin Yu quickly rushed over. It was easy to kill one person, but if there were several of them, it would not be easy to sneak attack and kill them. Tisk, looks like these women are not stupid. They know how to move around together. Hu Linglong's eyes darkened. She knew that she had lost the best opportunity to kill them. Her figure flashed and disappeared into the forest with the Hu Du Saintess candidates. Hu Linglong and the others did not notice that in the process of killing the Heavenly Fox clansman, a bird was standing on a branch high up in the sky. That bird was different from ordinary birds. It had 3 heads, and the feathers on each head were different. They were yellow, white, and red. After the women left, the 3-headed bird landed on the ground and turned into a person with 3 heads. Big brother, those women just now are from the Celestial Fox tribe. Among the 3 heads, the white-haired man said. After waiting for so many days, they finally arrived. The red-haired man echoed. They're from the Celestial Fox tribe. However, the woman we're looking for hasn't arrived yet. The blond man took out a painting. It was a portrait of Yunsheng. Big brother, it's just a mere beast man. Do you really need us 3 brothers to take action? The three brothers had strange appearances and seemed to have unfathomable strength. If it were an ordinary celestial fox, I wouldn't bother to make a move. But since that lord has already said so, we'll go all the way. The golden-haired man snorted. It's getting dark. We'll wait for an opportunity to act then. The golden-haired man covered his face. The three-headed man once again transformed into a three-headed bird and landed on a branch, quietly waiting for the arrival of night. Yun Sheng, Lu Yunshuang, and Qin Shi were flying at a low altitude. Magical wings and ice wings of different colors flashed behind their backs as they swiftly flew past. Since they had already confirmed that the high-level celestial fox inheritance pillar could only be found in the depths of the 8 desolate mountain range, Yun Sheng did not want to waste too much time on the way. She was also certain that Hu Linglong and Yu Shang would get in the way. Right now, she only wanted to complete the combat test as soon as possible and exchange the antidote to save Bobo and little Ying from Elder Lu. It's getting dark. Night is the most dangerous place in the 8 desolate mountain range. There's an open space ahead. Let's settle down and rest for the night. As the sun gradually set, Lu Yunshuang looked at the sky. During this hour, a large number of nocturnal flying beasts would fly out of the forest. The mountain range would become even more dangerous. The three of them flew down and found a few tents in the open space. The two-person Yuta group, Hu Linglong, and a celestial fox Santa's candidate were there. Including Yun Sheng and the other two, there were only about 10 people. These people were divided into 2 factions with Hu Linglong and Yu Shang at the center. This was not surprising. Hu Linglong had the highest status among all the Santa's candidates, while Yu Shang had the highest ability for the time being. Both of them were purebred, so the other Santa's candidates would naturally curry favor with them. Yu Shang and I have our eyes on this territory. You have no right to stay here. Get out of here immediately. As soon as she saw Yun Sheng and the others, Hu Linglong put on an unapproachable face. This open space had flat terrain and a wide view of the surroundings. Even if there was a night attack, they could see it clearly. If they missed this place, it would not be easy to find a suitable place to spend the night. The 8 desolate mountain range doesn't belong to you. Why do you have to make us leave? Yinsheng looked unhappy. Because you're a mixed blood with an unclear background. The two of you, listen up. If anyone stays with this mixed blood, don't even think about spending the night here. Hu Linglong held her head high. Behind her, the celestial fox Saintess candidates echoed her words. Numbers speak louder than words. I advise you to leave. Yin Sheng, no matter how strong you are, you're definitely no match for me and Hu Linglong. Yu Shang's tone was calm, but there was a hidden threat in her words. Wait a minute. I have nothing to do with her. I was just unlucky to be assigned to the same team. I'll announce that I'm leaving Feng Du's group now. Qin Shi listened from the side and quickly abandoned her teammates to join Hu Linglong's group. What a joke. Without a suitable campsite, how could the 3 of them survive the night in the 8 desolate mountain range? If they had to die, let that mixed blood Yinsheng die. Lu Yinshuang, what about you? Seeing that you're quite strong, we can consider accepting you if you abandon that bitch now. Hu Linglong could not wait for Yun Sheng to be abandoned by everyone. The 8 desolate mountain range was full of unpredictable threats. If Yun Sheng was left alone, her chances of dying were higher. Qin Shi, you'll regret this, Lu Yunshuang said coldly, using her actions to prove her answer. The 2 of them were forced to leave the campsite. Actually, you don't have to anger those people because of me. Yin Sheng was quite touched by Lu Yunshuang's actions. This woman from the Ice Fox tribe looked cold on the outside, but she was very loyal to her friends. Just based on the fact that she did not betray her at the critical moment, Yin Sheng decided to wait until the Sanus election was over before helping Lu Yunshuang change her body constitution. Even without you, I wouldn't have joined Hu Linglong and Yu Shang in the mire. But what should we do next? Before entering the 8 desolate mountain range, Lu Yunshuang had heard many legends about this mountain range. The nights here were not peaceful. Especially in the depths of the mountain range, there are likely to be large groups of sage-level magical beasts roaming. 1 or 2 of such magical beasts might not be a problem, But if they encountered hundreds or thousands of them, even she and Yunsheng would be helpless. What should we do? Haha, of course it's an eye for an eye. Those women made us homeless, so how can we let them spend the night so comfortably? Yunsheng smiled. With a wave of her hand, the Phantom King and the Night Demon Queen appeared in front of her at the same time. Chapter 1240. You're a witch summoner? Lu Yunchuang was shocked when she saw the two of them. She had long known that Yunsheng was very powerful, but she did not expect her to be a witch summoner as well. Witch summoner? I'm a witch summoner. Yunsheng treated Lu Yunchuang as one of her own and did not hide anything from her. Queen of the Night Demons, King of the Spectres, I order you to lead your Chi Mei and Spectres. Tonight in the 8 desolate mountains, ambush demonic beasts above sage level, then lure those demonic beasts to the open space ahead. Lu Yunchuang looked in the direction Yunsheng was pointing. Was it not the campsite where Hu Linglong, Yu Shang, and the others were staying earlier? A large-scale attack by holy beasts. This would probably be the most unforgettable night of Hu Linglong and Yu Shang's lives. Lu Yunchuang looked at the relaxed Yunsheng and secretly rejoiced in her heart. Fortunately, she had chosen to be friends with Yunsheng. This woman was really too cunning. Since they could not find the best campsite to set up camp, Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang chose to rest temporarily on a large tree that was more than 10 meters tall before the sky turned completely dark. The two of them sat cross-legged on the tree. The sky was filled with stars that looked like sparks of fire. All around them, there was only the sound of leaves rustling in the wind. Around midnight, there were hurried footsteps under the tree. There's someone here. Let's go down and take a look. Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang looked around and saw a figure moving quickly toward them from the forest. It's Qin Yu. Yunsheng recognized the person at a glance. The two of them landed on the ground in an instant. Yunsheng, Lu Yunchuang, it's so good to meet you. Qin Yu, who had hurried over, was also shocked when the two of them suddenly appeared. When she saw that it was the two of them, especially when she saw Yunsheng, Qin Yu's eyes lit up. She changed her attitude of disgust and ridicule when she saw Yunsheng earlier and tugged on Yunsheng's sleeve eagerly. Huayan Luo and I were accidentally ambushed on the way, and both of them were seriously injured. Yunsheng, you are a doctor. For the sake of Songdu, you must have a way to save them. Qin Yu chattered endlessly with tears flashing in the corners of her eyes. She looked very pitiful. Yunsheng shook off Qin Yu's hand without batting an eyelid. The latter stood there awkwardly. Are you going to leave him to die? Yunsheng, don't forget that you were ordered by Lord Hashur to escort us to Songdu. Now that the three of us are in danger, you actually stand by and do nothing? Qin Yu gnashed her teeth. Yunsheng, what she said seems to be true. Lu Yunchuang also recalled that she had not seen the 3 Saintess candidates from Songdu at the campsite just now. For the sake of Lady He, I'll go and save them once. You'd better not play any tricks. Yunsheng had never had a good impression of Qin Yu. This woman had always been like a little white flower in the beginning and tried to please everyone she met. After seeing that she had been chosen as the Saintess candidate of Plentiful City, she had mocked her many times. Would such a person risk her life to seek medical treatment for her teammates? It was good enough that she did not betray her teammates. Yunsheng sneered inwardly. Even if she knew that there was a trap ahead, she still wanted to see what tricks Qin Yu was playing. The two of them are in the woodland not far ahead. Follow me. Qin Yu quickly led Yunsheng and the others forward eagerly. This time, let's see how you die. Qin Yu walked in front, the sadness on her face from before completely gone. Her eyes flashed with the smile of someone who had succeeded in her scheme. In front of them, there was a shrub half the height of a person. Beside the shrub were 2 women lying on the ground. Judging from their figures, they were indeed Feng Lian and Huayan Luo. How are you? Lu Yunchuang reached out, wanting to touch them. Don't touch them. Yunsheng's 5 senses were sharp. The moment she approached the shrub, she could already sense that the 2 women were no longer breathing. Unfortunately, Yunsheng's words were too late. When Lu Yunchuang touched Huayan Luo who had gotten up early and was lying on the ground, raised her head abruptly. Her face was green and ferocious. Her eyes were white, and the flesh all over her body had rotted away. Hua Yinluo raised her hand and grabbed Lu Yunshuang's hand with a cold gust of wind. Where her hand had touched Lu Yunshuang's almost snow-white arm, there was now a green handprint on it. Fiery explosion. A fireball rushed toward Hua Yinluo. The other party cried out in pain as her arm burst into flames. "I seal." Only then did Lu Yunshuang realize that it was a trap. She hurriedly chanted, and half of her arm turned into ice, temporarily blocking the poison from Hua Yinluo's fingers. Her frozen arm had turned green. If Yunsheng had not intervened in time, coupled with the effect of the ice seal, Lu Yunshuang would have been poisoned to death by now. "Tisk, you're still alive after being poisoned by the rotting poison. You two are really lucky." Qinyu stood together with Hua Yinluo and Feng Lian. Her beautiful eyes were filled with jealousy and hatred. Beside her, Hua Yinluo and Feng Lian had rotting flesh all over their faces like zombies. It looked like both of them had been dead for a long time and had become rotting corpses. "Qinwei, did you set them up and cause them to end up like this?" Yinsheng had long known that Qinyu was not a good person, but she did not expect her to frame her companions like this. "Don't put it so crudely. What do you mean by I set them up? They only have themselves to blame for being in this state. If they had been obedient and obeyed the orders of the feathery Peng demons, they would not have ended up like this." Like the saintesses of the other capital cities, the three saintess candidates of Feng City acted together. The three of them were not lucky enough to reach the Celestial Fox Camp, where Hu Linglong and the others were at before dark. They had no choice but to take shelter in the dense forest for the time being. A few hours ago, a three-headed monster bird suddenly appeared. They transformed into three-headed monsters and called themselves the feathery Peng demons. The three women were no match for them and were captured. The feathery Peng demons interrogated them and found out that the three women knew Yunsheng. The feathery Peng demons threatened the three women to abduct Yunsheng. However, Feng Lian and Hua Yinluo were unwilling, so the feathery Peng demons turned the two women into rotting corpses. Qinyu had always been afraid of death, and she had a grudge against Yunsheng. She immediately begged for mercy and was willing to search for Yunsheng. That was why Qinyu pretended to ask for help earlier. Yunsheng was not from the 8th Desolate Continent and did not know much about the feathery Peng demons, but Lu Yunshuang knew them very well. The feathery Peng demons? "Qinyu, you're actually colluding with the exiled traders of the 8 major tribes." Lu Yunshuang's expression changed slightly when she heard that. She looked around vigilantly. "Ha ha! I can't believe that after so many years, there are still people who know the names of us three brothers." There was a burst of ghostly laughter. A bird flapped its wings and flew down from a tree nearby. It was a three-headed bird. The moment it landed, the three-headed bird transformed into a human. Chapter 1241. The three feathery rocks were originally ordinary clansmen from a village of the feathery rock tribe. The three brothers were born with 3 heads, and their mother was frightened to death. The village chief and their father saw them as ominous creatures and abandoned them in a mass grave when they were still infants. Little did they know that the 3 brothers were not meant to die. They grew up in the mass grave by drinking the water of rotting corpses and eating their flesh. 13 years later, the 3 brothers returned to the village where they had been abandoned. They killed all the feathery rock clansmen in the village, including their own father. When the feathery rock tribe's chief learned of this, he ordered an elder of the tribe to lead 100 feathery rock warriors to arrest the 3 brothers. Little did they know that even the elder was killed by the 3 brothers. The 3 brothers became famous in that pursuit and became known as the 3 feathery rocks. Not only that, but each of the 3 brothers learned 2 feathery rock legacies from the elder and the feathery rock warriors. The strength of the 3 demons increased greatly. The feathery rock tribe could not catch them alone. Left with no choice, the feathery rock tribe could only ask for help from the other 7 tribes. The chief of the Bahuang tribe signed a warrant to kill the 3 feathery rocks. The 3 demons were not tolerated by the mainland. They had no choice but to escape into the deep mountains and forests. From then on, the 3 feathery rocks disappeared from the Bahuang continent. Even the feathery rock tribe thought that the 3 demons were dead. Decades passed in the blink of an eye. The mainland gradually forgot about the evil reputation of the 3 brothers. If Lu Yunchuang had not heard about them from the older generation of the tribe, she probably would not have known about the evil reputation of the 3 demons. The 3 demons eat human and beast corpses all year round. Their bodies are different from ordinary people's, and they are not afraid of ordinary attacks. When they take the form of birds, their beaks and saliva are extremely poisonous. Anyone who comes into contact with them will turn into rotting corpses. Lu Yunchuang looked worried. However, this was not the most frightening thing about the 3 demons. The most frightening thing about them was that each of them had 2 legacies. The 3 of them combined were equivalent to 6 Bahuang legacies. In terms of bloodlines, Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang were 6-tailed and 5-tailed, respectively. However, the total number of celestial fox inheritances they possessed was only 6. In addition to that, they also had Qinyu. Dealing with the 3 demons was indeed not an easy task. Since you know how powerful we 3 brothers are, I advise you to obediently surrender. Your Yinsheng? The 3 brothers cooed. The 3 heads with different hair colors looked at Yunsheng together. They looked at Yunsheng as if they were looking at a piece of delicious meat. Their target was her. Yunsheng didn't remember offending such an enemy. Sirs, let me stall that injured woman, Qinyu requested in a fawning manner. Now that Lu Yunchuang had been poisoned by the decaying poison, Qinyu could use this opportunity to avenge herself for being frozen. At that moment, Lu Yunchuang truly regretted not killing the traitor Qinyu during the duel at the inn. Leave the 3 demons to me. You be careful of Qinyu. Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang did not hesitate. Both of them leaped several meters into the air and attacked in 2 different directions. An icy combat aura surged around Lu Yunchuang. Lu Yunchuang held the poison in one hand and waved her other hand. As the icy air approached, countless ice needles condensed in the air. Traitors should be punished by everyone. The ice needles scattered like flowers. Wind shield. This time, Qinyu was different from her usual self. She smiled sinisterly and suddenly waved her hand. A wind shield formed between her sleeves. There was a crackling sound as the wind shield collided with the ice needles. The ice needles all exploded. Your strength. Lu Yunchuang steadied herself. She had fought Qinyu before, so she knew her opponent's strength very well. Haha, you didn't expect this, did you? There's more to come. An unusual red glow appeared on Qinyu's face. She chanted, and another Qinyu formed beside her. I'd like to see how you could defeat 4 of my fists with just one hand. After summoning her clone, Qinyu became even more fearless. The Hua family's traceless fox? You devoured Feng Lian and Hua Yinluo's hearts? You're really crazy. Lu Yunchuang recognized it as Hua Yinluo's inheritance at a glance. There is only one possibility for Qinyu to achieve such a shocking breakthrough in strength in such a short period of time. She could use both Feng Lian's wind shield and Hua Yinluo's traceless fox. Hua Yinluo had devoured their hearts. Lu Yunchuang looked at Hua Yinluo and Feng Lian. There was a fist-sized hole in each of their hearts. Unlike other Bakra orcs, the Celestial Fox tribe had a simple method of inheriting their inheritance, devouring hearts. However, this method was too cruel and bloody. It had always been regarded as a taboo in the Celestial Fox tribe. Who would have thought that not only would Qinyu betray her companions, but she would also do such a thing? Haha, so what if I devour their hearts? After I kill you, and the 3 of you kill that be *starred Yunsheng, I'll devour your hearts as well. Qinyu's expression was ferocious, and her eyes shone with a ghostly green light. That was right. After witnessing the 3 rock demons turn the 2 women into rotting corpses, she had an evil thought and begged the 3 demons to give her their hearts. The three rock demons were also crazy people. Seeing a delicate beauty like Qin Yu devour the celestial fox's heart was a form of visual pleasure for them. As soon as Qin Yu devoured their hearts, she realized that her strength had increased greatly. What was even more amazing was that after devouring the hearts of her fellow celestial fox tribe members, she also gained the inheritance that they were best at. Devouring celestial foxes' hearts to increase her cultivation was like taking drugs. If it happened once, it would happen again. Qin Yu's current targets were Lu Yunshuang and Yunsheng. One of them was a five-tailed celestial fox, while the other was a six-tailed celestial fox. After devouring their hearts, Qin Yu, would definitely become the most outstanding celestial fox saintess in the history of the celestial fox tribe. If you want to eat my heart, then come and try. Lu Yunshuang whistled and pointed her unpoisoned left hand at the sky. Within her body, icy cold air quickly gathered in the palm of her hand. Lu Yunshuang's hand transformed into an indestructible ice-rending claw. Ice Fox Energy Rending Slash. The white energy rending slash was like a long rainbow as it slashed down at one of Qin Yu's clones. The clone was instantly frozen into an ice sculpture. Not only that, but all the vegetation within 100 meters of the house was also frozen solid. Under the dark night, it was a vast expanse of whiteness, giving off a desolate feeling. The five-tailed ice fox was indeed worthy of being an extremely special branch of the Heavenly Fox clan. Even though one of its hands was injured, its battle power was still astonishing. Qin Yu's expression changed abruptly. At this moment, Lu Yunshuang was like an ice goddess. The ice-rending claw in her hand slashed out gusts of biting cold wind. On the other side, the fierce battle between Yunsheng and the three rock brothers had just begun. Chapter 1242. The battle on Yunsheng's side was much more intense than that on the other side. Apart from fighting the three Peng brothers, she also had to deal with the two rotting celestial fox corpses, Hua Yinluo and Feng Lian. In order not to interfere with the battle on Lu Yunshuang's side, Yunsheng quickly set up a magic isolation array around her. Who's behind this? Yunsheng had no grudge against the three Peng demons, so it was most likely that someone was behind this. Haha, if you want to know the truth, you'll have to defeat these two rotting corpses first, the three demons hooted. Although they had been ordered to kill Yunsheng, the three of them were notorious in their early years. They had even dared to kill an elder of the Peng tribe, let alone a celestial fox hybrid. In their opinion, Yunsheng was not worthy of their attention. Feng Lian and Hua Yinluo were like two loyal guards, blocking Yunsheng's path with a whoosh. Feng Lian was an expert in wind-type magic. Her body was surrounded by an oppressive power of the wind. The wind turned into scythe-shaped wind blades and charged toward Yunsheng. The magic scepter in Yunsheng's hand moved like a snake. With a few thuds, an earth wall rolled up from the ground and blocked the wind blades. On the other side, Hua Yinluo's eyes were blank as she chanted dryly. Her figure split into two, one on the left and one on the right, closing in on Yunsheng. The Hua Yinluo on the left pulled out a scimitar, while the Hua Yinluo on the right brandished a long whip. Dark thorns break. Sharp thorns rose from the ground and pierced Hua Yinluo's body. After being stabbed, the rotting corpse paused for a moment before pouncing toward Yunsheng again. Tisk, you're really difficult to deal with. Yunsheng's lips curled into a cold smile. She spread her arms like a rock and soared several meters into the air. Improved fiery explosion. 9 Heavens Phoenix explosion. Yunsheng had only used this spell a limited number of times, but the effect was very different from the first time she used it. Although it was just an ordinary magic spell, after mixing with the powerful energy of the divine lotus fire, a fire phoenix descended from the 9 heavens and flew towards Feng Lian and Hua Yama. The scorching flames rushed towards the rotting corpses. The rotting corpses instantly exploded, turning into 2 puddles of putrid green liquid. The 3 of you have killed 2 of my companions. I will not let you off so easily. Yunsheng looked at Hua Yinluo and Feng Lian's bodies that were smashed into pieces, her heart heavy. She didn't have much of a relationship with the two girls from Songdo, but at least they had been on the same journey as her. They weren't fence-sitters like Chinyu. Seeing them end up like this, she couldn't help but feel a little empty. But when she thought of the characters of the two girls, she was afraid that they would rather die than become ugly, rotting corpses. Yun Sheng felt relieved. This little girl is really something. No wonder the great witch doctor asked the three of us to deal with her. Seeing Yun Sheng kill Feng Lian and Huayin Luo in an instant, the three rock demons looked dignified. The rotting corpses were not afraid of knives, spears, water, or lightning. It had a certain resistance to ordinary fire, but they were completely devoured by the fire magic phoenix. The fire seed was extremely powerful. They thought that the celestial fox tribe had already declined, but they didn't expect a mixed-blood celestial fox to have such ability. But no matter how powerful she was, it was all empty talk in front of the three brothers. Rock inheritance, night invisibility. Rock inheritance, golden feather plume. Suddenly, the three rock demons disappeared in the dark night. Yun Sheng's heart trembled slightly, and she became a little vigilant. The Bakra orcs evolved from the birds of the Rock clan. Among their ancestors, there was the Night Owl clan, who were very good at hiding in the dark night. The three brothers suddenly disappeared, and even their breath disappeared. Yun Sheng couldn't make a move for a while, and she was vigilant in the magic array. Whoosh! Several gusts of wind brushed past her ears. Yun Sheng's ears moved slightly, and a feather appeared between her fingers. The feather was as sharp as a knife. Then, behind her and in front of her, many feathers swept over. Wind wings, speed up. Yun Sheng's figure moved, constantly casting defensive magic, but the feathers, which had no direction and no warning, burst out from all directions from time to time. It's really strange. These three demons are a little difficult to deal with. Yun Sheng clicked her tongue. In this situation, even if Yun Sheng summoned magic beasts, the attack wouldn't be very effective, and she was afraid that it would increase unnecessary casualties. The three rock brothers' attacks were strange, and she didn't know how many other rock inheritances were hidden in their bodies besides night invisibility. Whoosh! A feather brushed past her earlobe, and a green scar appeared on the side of her ear. The strong, decaying poison quickly spread, and Yun Sheng immediately took out a bottle of life water and drank a mouthful. Under the effect of the life water, the scar slowly recovered its color. Hey, the potion in that woman's hand is very strange. The three demons didn't expect that Yun Sheng had hidden such amazing healing holy water. Yun Sheng carefully looked around. Although there was no way to determine the location of the three rock demons, one thing was certain: they were definitely still in the magic array. Rock demons, I have the life water in my hands. You can't kill me. Why don't we make a deal, and you tell me who ordered you to do this? I will help you turn into normal people. Yun Sheng suddenly lowered her defenses and said loudly. The three rock demons were stunned. Turn into normal people. What did that mean? Ignore that woman. She wants to lure us into revealing our whereabouts. The leader of the three rock demons was very astute, and he reprimanded his two brothers to ignore Yun Sheng. The three demons and one mother had been in the same womb for many years, and even if they didn't speak, they could understand the thoughts of the three. The two demons didn't respond. Yun Sheng was not in a hurry, and she chanted, and Xiao He appeared beside her. When Xiao He appeared, all the black fur on its body stood up like needles, and it barked a few times towards a certain direction in the darkness. It's the heavenly dog. Its nose is very sensitive. Could it have already discovered our whereabouts? The three rock demons saw Xiao He and couldn't help but feel a little flustered. After Yun Sheng summoned Xiao He, she didn't order it to attack, and she patted Xiao He's neck. I summoned Xiao He not to become enemies with you. I just want to let you know that I can really help you. Xiao He was originally a two-headed dog, and I was the one who saved it. Yun Sheng gestured at Xiao He's neck. The three rock demons focused their gaze on Xiao He's neck, and upon closer inspection, there was indeed a scar on it. Because of the age, it was very difficult to see with the naked eye, but upon closer inspection, they noticed that Xiao Hei's head was different from a normal dog's, and its head was tilted to the left, so it wasn't hard to guess that it was indeed a two-headed dog. Even the great witch doctor couldn't save us three brothers? Can this woman do it? The three rock demons thought. Chapter 1243. The feathery Pung demons were seen as a bad omen for the feathery Pung tribe because of their deformed heads. For so many years, they have been hiding from one place to another like rats on the streets. Although they claimed that the three brothers would work together, in their hearts, they also longed to live like normal feathery Pung tribe members. This time, the three demons did not speak. They were obviously hesitating. Yin Sheng's eyes narrowed. Xiao Hei's sense of smell was very sensitive. She had probably locked onto the three demons' positions. The black eyes turned into a golden color, and a giant golden eye appeared in the sky. A voice appeared in the minds of the three demons. I'm here to help you. The three of you share a body. Not only do you have to endure inhumane treatment, but your body will also run out of nutrients over time, and your limbs will wither away. I believe you've already experienced this over the years. In the modern world, Yin Sheng had seen all kinds of conjoined twins. Most of them died young, and some even died in their infancy. The feathery Pung demons were able to live for decades not only because of the strength of their 8 Desolates bloodline, but also because they had taken some special medicine. Yin Sheng's words were like 2 heavy hammers that struck the three demons' hearts. The three brothers had indeed had a hard time over the years. While evading the Bakra orcs, they also had to search for all kinds of spiritual herbs to sustain their lives. It was also because of this that they had no choice but to become the great shaman Celestial Fox's minions. They appeared to be obedient, but deep down, they were unwilling to accept it. What should I do to get you to help me? The feathery Pung demons hesitated, but in the end, they compromised with Yin Sheng. It's very simple. Only one of the three of you can survive. Instead of surviving together, it's better to kill the other two without anyone noticing. One of you will live, become a normal person, and live on. I swear in the name of Ancestor Celestial Fox that I will fulfill my promise. Yin Sheng's voice was like a venomous snake, flicking its venomous tongue in the dark night. Outside the magic array, Lu Yunshuang and Qin Yu were engaged in a heated battle. Lu Yunshuang, you'd better beg for mercy. That lowly celestial fox is no match for the three demons. I'm afraid she's already a rotten corpse by now. You're next. Qin Yu chuckled dryly. Her eyes were bloodshot as she glanced at the magic formation. Qin Yu's expression changed slightly when she saw it. The magic array suddenly shattered, and a person stumbled out of it. That person was not Yun Sheng, whom Qin Yu had hoped for. Instead, it was the three Pung demons. The eyes of the three devils turned scarlet. They twisted and bit at each other fiercely. The Pung Feather three devils were born from the same mother. The three of them knew each other's weaknesses the best. Their bites were all aimed at each other's weak points. They were merciless. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere. He had bitten the other party's head until it was bleeding, but he still refused to let go. Yin Sheng and them. When Lu Yunshuang saw this, she abandoned Qin Yu and landed next to Yin Sheng. She stared at the three Pung Feather three devils with an evasive expression. It's just a dogfight. I just caught their psychological illness and used some psychological tactics. The smell of rotting corpses grew stronger in the air. Yin Sheng frowned in disgust. As a healer, psychological attacks, such as sowing discord, were sometimes more effective than magic and battle techniques. The three devils fought to the end. Only the eldest of the three Pung Feather three devils had one last breath left. They're all dead. Save me. He still refused to give up and begged Yun Sheng for help. Yun Sheng walked up to him and fed him a few mouthfuls of the elixir of life. Lu Yunshuang watched from the side. She saw Yun Sheng take out a strange-looking knife and cut open the two devil skulls. She then used acupuncture to stop the bleeding for the eldest Pung Feather three devils. Such serious injuries would be difficult for any healer on the mainland, even the great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribe, to treat them. However, Yunsheng did it smoothly and without any hesitation. Lu Yunchuang could not help but trust Yunsheng's medical skills a little more. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils, gradually regained consciousness. Only then did he realize that he had fallen into Yunsheng's trap. Second brother, third brother. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils wailed. Don't pretend. To put it bluntly, my golden puppet eyes can only affect people with weak hearts. If you 3 brothers are really deeply in love, my golden puppet eyes will have no effect at all. I've done what I promised. It's time for you to fulfill your promise, Yunsheng said ruthlessly. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils, touched his wound. Without the heads of his second brother and third brother, his body had indeed become much lighter. He had become a normal person. I can't say. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils' heart was palpitating. He felt a little regretful, but also a little fearful. It was obvious that he was very wary of the background of the mastermind behind the scenes. Oh, Yunsheng seemed to have guessed the eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils' reaction. She snapped her fingers. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils, only felt a very soft sound coming from his neck. Blood gushed out of the wound that had already stopped bleeding. Wait, help me stop the bleeding. I'll tell you everything. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils covered the bleeding wound. He was so scared that his face was drained of color. Yunsheng did not say another word. She raised her palm and wiped an acupoint at the base of the eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils' ear. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils, felt a needle-like pain in the base of his ear. The bleeding miraculously stopped. Yunsheng would never save someone like the eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils, who would even harm his own brothers for the sake of profit, if she was not completely confident. She had deliberately held back when she treated him just now. As expected, he wanted to go back on his word. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils, had already been thoroughly convinced by Yunsheng after being startled like this. He did not dare to play any tricks. The great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribe ordered the 3 of us to kill you. Apart from you, she also said that apart from a Sanus candidate named Yushang, we've encountered other Sanus candidates along the way, so we'll deal with them as well. The eldest Peng Feather, 3 devils had agreed readily, but who knew that it would bring disaster to the 3 brothers? The great witch doctor is in cahoots with Yushang. Lu Yunchuang's face was full of disbelief. That seems to be the case. It was probably the great witch doctor's idea to hold the combat examination in an 8 desolate mountain range. Yunsheng had heard the great witch doctor's name a long time ago. She had initially thought that the great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribe would be a kind-hearted healer. She had even wanted to exchange pointers with her, but who would have thought? Including the 2 mysterious black talismans on Popping Sheep and Little Ying, this great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribe whom she had never met before had already offended her twice. No matter where the other party came from, she would take revenge tenfold for offending her. However, before that, Yunsheng had to find out why Yushang was in cahoots with the great witch doctor. Chapter 1244. After Boss Peng finished speaking, he sneaked a glance at Yunsheng's expression. To tell you the truth, miss, we made a very important discovery in the 8 desolate mountains. There's a sizable forest of inheritance pillars deep within the mountains. Boss Peng knew that he would not be able to escape death if the witch doctor found out that he had betrayed the witch doctor. So, he decided to betray the witch doctor and seek refuge with Yunsheng. In order to gain Yunsheng's trust, he revealed the secret he had been hiding in the depths of his heart. Forest of Inheritance Pillars? What's that? Why haven't we heard of it when we enter the mountains? Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang looked surprised when they heard this. They had come to the 8 desolate mountains to search for inheritance pillars, but they had not seen any along the way. They did not expect to hear about inheritance pillars from Boss Peng. This information has not been announced to the public yet. It's a long story about the forest of inheritance pillars. The 3 of us were hunted in the early years, and have been hiding in the 8 desolate mountains. This mountain range is vast and boundless, but not long ago, we discovered a very large ancient seal. There were a large number of inheritance pillars in the seal. Boss Peng was afraid that Yunsheng would not believe him, so he quickly described it vividly. The 3 Peng demons had been hunted down by the tribes of the 8 desolate mountains, especially a few high-ranking beast clans who had been relentlessly pursuing them. The 3 brothers also learned that the 8 desolate mountains might contain powerful inheritance pillars left behind by the ancestors of the Peng tribe. So, over the years, they had been searching for the inheritance pillars of the Peng tribe, and also working under the orders of the witch doctor. However, the inheritance pillars on the outskirts of the 8 desolate mountains have been extensively searched and excavated. The remaining inheritance pillars were either of inferior quality or had lost their power due to age. The 3 demons did not discover anything until 3 months ago. The 3 Peng demons found a map on the corpse of a passerby. The map showed that there was a suspicious seal in the core area of the 8 desolate mountains. It was said that the seal was deliberately left behind by the first batch of Bakro orcs when they first arrived in the 8 desolate lands to prevent their heritage from being lost. However, that seal was very strange. It was simply impossible for ordinary people to undo it. The 3 of us followed the map's guidance and arrived at the location of the seal. Furthermore, we entered that seal. When Boss Peng Yu said this, he still had some lingering fear. After they broke into the seal, it was as if they were in a maze. In the end, they still failed to obtain the inheritance. Is there a celestial fox's inheritance pillar inside? Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang's interest was piqued. That seal contains the inheritance of all the major beast clans, so there must be the inheritance of celestial fox inside, Boss Peng Yu said awkwardly. According to the map, only by finding the eye of the seal can the seal be broken, and the most powerful inheritance pillars can be seen again. With the abilities of us 3 brothers at the time, there was no way for us to find the location of the eye seal. With no other choice, the Feather Peng demons could only inform their old friends of their discovery. Originally, they wanted to use everyone's strength to break the seal. Who would have thought that those fellows would leak the news? Who did they leak it to? Yunsheng pressed on, secretly despising the Feather Peng demons in her heart. These 3 Feather Peng demons were really stupid. The Forest of Inheritance Pillars was a great opportunity, and they had actually rashly leaked it. No wonder people said that 3 monks had nothing to eat. These 3 demons were the classic example of incompetent people who could only spoil things. Fortunately, the 3 demons had offended too many people and did not have many friends on the mainland. They only told the news to a member of the Beaming clan and a member of the Feather Peng clan. The 2 of them reported the news to their superiors. Now, the Beaming clan and the Feather Peng clan had sent people into the 8 desolate mountain range. As far as the 3 demons knew, there were hundreds of people on both sides, led by the elites of their respective clans. The Feather Peng demons knew that they were no match for them, so they could only hide outside. Just like that, the underground forest of inheritance pillars was taken over. The Beaming clan and the Feather Peng clan each had hundreds of people. Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang frowned slightly. This news was not good. There were only the 2 of them, and the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates were eyeing them covetously. This was obviously not the time to fight head-on. Let's stop for a while. After daybreak, we'll set off again and explore the location on the map. Yunsheng decided for the time being. While they were reorganizing, Yunsheng and Lu Yunchuang realized that Qin Yu had disappeared. That woman must have escaped. When she saw you take care of the Feather Peng demons, she knew that she was no match for you. This woman's methods are vicious. She even ate the hearts of her own clansmen. I should have killed her long ago. Lu Yunchuang was a little regretful. It doesn't matter. She can't do anything by herself. What's more important now is to do as Boss Feather Peng said, and think of a way to get close to the sealed area where the Forest of Inheritance Pillars is. Yunsheng collected Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian's ashes. She decided to bring their ashes back to Qianlang after leaving the 8 desolate mountain range. Not long after daybreak, Yunsheng and Lu Yunshuang walked toward the sealed area under Boss Featherpang's lead. This night was unforgettable for most people in the 8 Desolate Mountain Range. In the direction of the Celestial Fox camp, the Celestial Fox Sanus candidates were all panting. Even Hu Linglong, who had always been elegant and graceful, was now in a sorry state with many wounds on her body and face. The camp was surrounded by the severed limbs of demonic beasts. The Celestial Fox camp, which was located in an excellent location, was now like a battlefield. Most of the Celestial Fox Sanus candidates were injured. 2 of the Celestial Fox Sanus candidates died on the spot. After a night of fighting, Hu Linglong and Yu Shang were the only 2 who were completely unharmed. What the hell? Where did so many demonic beasts come from? Hu Linglong was furious and kicked the corpse of a saint-level fire-spotted wolf beside her. Their camp was clearly far away from the demonic beast gathering area. How did it attract so many demonic beasts all of a sudden? Last night, Hu Linglong was in a good mood after chasing away Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang. However, this good mood only lasted until the first half of the night. In the latter half of the night, she first heard the cries of eagles. Then, a group of 50 to 60 eagle-headed leopards appeared in the sky above the camp. The eagle-headed leopards were furious. It was as if the Celestial Fox Sanus candidates had dug up their ancestral graves. They attacked the camp in a frenzy. Due to the eagle-headed leopard's sudden appearance, one of the Celestial Fox Sanus candidates was caught in the air by the angered eagle-headed leopard queen and torn in half. However, just as Hu Linglong and Yu Shang organized their forces and killed the eagle-headed leopard queen and her subordinates, worse things happened. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.